Hello, is this the police? I need to report an emergency. A Resident Evil scene just grew out of my wall. Come save me. Through the circular portal I can see a rotting, dilapidated restaurant inside. The floor is stained with the dried up residue of some liquid. Outside the window, black rain pours down on the ruins. A few zombies stagger in the downpour, and far in the distance, the silhouette of some massive humanoid creature flickers in and out of view. Close it! Close it! Shut it now! With a powerful surge of my mental command, the blue swirl on the wall suddenly shrinks and vanishes. What a genius move on my part. This once-in-a-lifetime windfall, handing it over to the government, is the only smart play. About 10 minutes later, a knock comes at the door. Are you the one who called? Yes, officers, did you bring your guns? Buddy, how much did you drink? Bring guns? Why not ask if we brought grenades while you're at it? Young man, you called in saying there's a biohazard portal in your house, and that there are zombies. I know this sounds insane, but in a moment, no matter what you see, do not move, do not touch, do not approach. Got it? When the two officers see the devastated world beyond the portal, they can't help but gasp. Is this a hologram? Has three-dimensional technology really come this far? This isn't a special effect, just watch. Saying this, I rush into the kitchen. 10 seconds later, I come back out holding a live chicken. Watch closely. I throw the hen straight into the portal. The startled hen barely makes it to the restaurant door before letting out a horrifying, ear-piercing shriek. Its feathers rapidly turn charred and withered, and it begins to mutate. The living room falls into dead silence. Calling command center. This is Officer 9527, Building 4, Apartment 302, Harmony Gardens, Seacliff City. We have a major unknown incident. Not a crime, not a fire. There is a door here leading to hell. Requesting SWAT support, requesting hazmat units, requesting lockdown of the entire neighborhood. Hurry, this is a level 1 biohazard. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. The once peaceful and quiet Harmony Gardens is now patrolled by fighter jets and helicopters overhead, while police cars and armored vehicles surround it in layers on the ground. Inside the temporary command room, Ethan, male, 24 years old, a native of Seacliff City, freelance designer, parents deceased early, no criminal record, no history of mental illness. Half an hour ago you claimed a door opened on your wall, leading to a parallel world. We have already verified it. Our technicians went in earlier, conducting preliminary scans with drones. The air sample analysis is back. Aside from a high concentration of unknown viral aerosols, the oxygen levels, gravity, even atmospheric pressure are all identical to Earth's. That is, in fact, another Earth. Then what about my house? Your house is now a top-level classified site. All residents of the building have signed non-disclosure agreements and have been relocated. From this moment on, that place no longer belongs to you, or rather, it no longer belongs to civilian Ethan. Then what about me? Am I going to be dissected for research? Victor's stern face reveals a rare hint of a smile. No, you are worth far more than that. Just then, General Marcus, a figure only seen on military news, walks in. Young man, tonight must have terrified you. I already understand the situation. That door, can you control it? Open and close or move it? Open and close, yes, I control it with my mind. Moving it, no. And I can sense the door's size somehow connected to me, but I don't fully understand it yet. Being able to open and close is enough. Young man, I now ask you one formal question on behalf of the nation. What does this door mean? You should understand. It is a crisis. If the virus over there leaks through, it is the end of our world. But it is also an opportunity. A brand new parallel world with unknown technology and resources. You hold the key to opening it. What will you do? I fall silent. Even though I had made up my mind when I called the police, now facing this national-level decision, the pressure still suffocates me. Sir, I'm just an ordinary citizen. I don't understand high-level affairs, but I know I can't handle what's over there alone. So I'm handing this door over to the nation, but I have one condition. Speak. I want absolute protection from the state. Not just from the monsters over there, but also from anyone with ulterior motives who might try to use me. I only trust the nation. Ethan, your trust is received. Establish a strategic special operations group immediately. Codename Project Starfire. Ethan is hereby specially recruited, granted the rank of civilian major, serving as special advisor to Project Starfire, with colonel-level benefits. His immediate family is placed on the top-tier security list. I stand outside the glass wall of the isolation chamber, watching 6 fully armed soldiers prepare in front of the portal. All units attention, this is not a drill. Victor's voice rings out over the comms channel. This is an exploration across time and space. Our primary mission is to confirm environmental safety. Secondary mission, sample collection. Remember, safety first. If you encounter uncontrollable danger, retreat immediately. I take a deep breath and raise my right hand. Even though I can control it purely by thought, I still make the gesture out of habit. Countdown, Victor orders. 3, 2, open. With a flick of my mind, boom. The deep blue swirl on the wall rapidly expands and a cold wind reeking of death rushes out, only to be instantly sucked away by the negative pressure system. Environmental monitoring team, report readings. Reporting. Radiation levels on the other side are slightly elevated but within safe range. Oxygen concentration matches Earth's. Viral aerosols detected, but activity is extremely low. They lack airborne transmission capability. Confirmed, no airborne infection risk. Lead Officer Commander Ryan steps into the swirl first, as if passing through a wall of water. A second later, he is standing inside the dilapidated room of the other world. Vanguard 1, do you copy? Comms check. Vanguard 1 copies. Signal strength is good. Cleared to proceed. Copy. Reporting to command, I have successfully reached the target zone. Visual confirms interior environment. Structural damage is severe, but no immediate risk of collapse. The command center's main screen displays Ryan's first-person view, dust covering the floor, mold creeping along the corners, and a patch of dried, blackened blood. The remaining 5 team members file in, deploying in tactical formation with trained precision. "Commander, look at this!" A soldier brushes off thick dust beside a pile of rubble, revealing a crushed metal street sign, Ridgemont No. 3 High School. Below the sign lies a torn backpack, from which a few prep books have spilled. The command center falls into dead silence. Victor's voice grows hoarse. English, Ridgemont City, college prep materials combined with identical gravity and atmospheric composition. I think we no longer need to doubt it. This is not an alien planet, nor some demonic realm. This is simply Earth. In a parallel world, I stare at the screen, a flood of mixed emotions washing over me. Even though I had expected this, seeing familiar traces of our civilization with my own eyes still leaves me breathless. Wait, something's wrong. Ryan's voice suddenly turns urgent. Movement outside. The screen switches to Ryan's main view. He has his rifle aimed out the window. At the end of the street, a dark figure is creeping along the wall in an eerie way. Like a humanoid panther, it suddenly halts, lifting its head toward the 3rd floor. Its face has only eye whites, with a mouth split open to its ears. A non-human shriek pierces the silence. "All units, combat ready." Ryan's voice is terrifyingly calm. "Target locked. Clear to fire. All units attention. Target sighted. Target characteristics analysis." The tactical analyst speaks rapidly. Moves on all 4 limbs at extreme speed. Skin is pale gray with severe signs of decay. Initial assessment, unknown zombie virus-infected entity. Looks like a hairless monkey. I can't help but mutter. "That's no monkey," Victor says, pointing at data on the screen. Based on bone structure analysis, it was originally human, but it has undergone severe mutation. And look at its claws. The image zooms in. The creature's claws are about 10 centimeters long, gleaming with a metallic sheen. The creature below loses patience. Its hind leg muscles tense violently. "It's gonna jump up here," I shout in alarm. "We're on the 3rd floor." The dark figure shoots up like an arrow, launching off the ground, grabbing the 2nd floor security bars, and lunging at the 3rd floor window. The speed is overwhelming. The analyst notes, "Threat level recommended upgrade to Class D." Facing the incoming stench, Ryan doesn't even blink. The instant the creature leaps, he pulls the trigger. Bang, 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 3 quick shots. The first bullet shatters the creature's right shoulder joint. The second drills through the center of its forehead. Its body flips midair and crashes heavily onto the street below. "Target eliminated," Ryan reports calmly. "Confirmed dead. Head is the weak point, body is downstairs, requesting instructions." "Good." General Marcus slams the table. "Looks like this thing isn't as godlike as we feared. As long as physics still applies, our firearms work." I let out a breath of relief too. The worst case scenario was monsters being immune to weapons. Since bullets can kill them, this just got a lot easier. "All teams attention." Victor's voice carries a hint of excitement. "Collect samples immediately. This is the freshest first-hand evidence. I want to know its muscle density, bone strength, and what those black claws are made of. Vanguard 2, come downstairs with me for sampling. Everyone else hold position on the 3rd floor and stay alert." "Yes, sir." 2 soldiers swiftly descend, dragging the creature's body into the 1st floor lobby to begin sampling. "Reporting to command," the soldier in charge of sampling says. "Initial analysis shows the target contains extremely high concentrations of active virus. Additionally, its bone density is 15 times that of a normal human, and its muscle fiber strength is twice that of an average person. The claws are primarily a mix of keratin and metallic elements, with hardness approaching steel." "Metallic elements?" Victor pauses. "How did it ingest metal?" "Possibly by consuming some metal-containing mutated creature, or perhaps the virus itself can absorb metallic elements from the environment." "Fascinating," Victor says, pushing up his glasses. "If we can crack the mechanism of biological metallization, our body armor and tank plating could undergo a revolution." Wow, he's already thinking about research and development. I am totally dumbfounded listening to him. Is this how the national team thinks? "Commander, new situation, 12 o'clock direction, abnormal activity spotted." A sentry's voice comes through the comms. Ryan darts to the window. He sees zombies at the far end of the street, drawn by the earlier shrieking. They are gathering, heading this way. 12 o'clock direction. Estimated count, over 50, Ryan reports. "They're approaching our position, requesting instructions." General Marcus waves his hand. "Probe contact phase is over. Now we need a solid bridgehead. Order the Chemical Defense Engineering Unit to enter immediately and establish Outpost Zero in the room housing the dual world gate. Tell the soldiers not to ration ammunition. In this world, truth only exists within artillery range. All squads, attention, free fire," Ryan's voice rings out. "General said don't ration ammo, send them on their way." "Copy that." Rifle barrels protrude from the 3rd floor window, weaving a net of death. In less than a minute, all 50-plus zombies are reduced to corpses. "Targets eliminated. Excellent." General Marcus issues his second order. "Engineering Squad 1, move in. Establish Outpost Zero immediately." "Yes, sir." A group of soldiers in special operations uniforms charges through the dual world gate, moving so fast it dazzles the eyes. Airtight partitions deploy, gap sealing operations begin, the air circulation system connects, and power lines are laid down. I feel like I have completely underestimated the legendary efficiency of these infrastructure monsters. Within 5 minutes, the 4 walls of the dilapidated room are completely covered with silver-white alloy panels. Soldiers use spray guns to apply polymer gel at the seams. This gel solidifies within 10 seconds of contact with air, forming a molecular-level seal. Victor explains beside me. Forget viral aerosols, even nerve gas couldn't get through. Next, the air purifier's supply hoses are quickly installed using magnetic quick-release couplings. Those are emergency disconnect devices, Victor explains. In case of an uncontrollable crisis, or if you need to emergency close the dual-world gate, this coupling can release in one click and seal the pipe in under 1 second. No hesitation. A chill runs down my spine. They have thought of everything. Reporting, air tightness test passed for Outpost Zero's core area, internal pressure adjusted to positive mode. Reporting, power system successfully integrated, voltage stable in the parallel world. Reporting, military-grade broadband base station deployed, signal at full strength. In less than 20 minutes, a sci-fi-style modern outpost has been built. Done already? I stare in disbelief. Basic construction complete. General Marcus turns to me. Ethan, get ready. We need you to go over for a bit. Me too. You are the owner of the gate. His gaze is firm. We need to test whether the gate stays stable if you're on the other side, and there may be things only you can sense. That one-sided slaughter gave me tremendous confidence. Alright, I'll go. 10 minutes later, I am wearing a custom lightweight protective suit, standing before the portal. My bedroom has been turned into a temporary command center. Let's go. General Marcus accompanies me personally, with 4 guards by his side. I nod, lift my foot, and step through the portal. The field beneath my feet shifts from wooden flooring to anti-slip steel plate. The air carries a faint scent of ozone. Welcome to Outpost Zero, sir. Ryan salutes, then nods at me. I look around, and through the bulletproof glass observation window in the wall, I see this apocalypse with my own eyes for the first time. The sky is leaden gray, the streets lie in chaos, with zombie corpses scattered everywhere, soaking in pools of black blood. How is the gate's status? Victor's voice comes through the comms. Extremely stable, a technician replies. Preliminary tests confirm that regardless of which side Ethan is on, the dual-world gate maintains a stable open state. Excellent. General Marcus walks to the observation window and points at a jewelry store at a distant street corner, its display cases reflecting a tempting gold sheen. That's a gold shop. My eyes widen instantly. Looks like our luck is good, General Marcus chuckles. Hit hard currency right out of the gate. In times like these, gold is scrap iron. He pats my shoulder. But back on Earth, it has been the most stable currency for the past 100 years. With it, we can trade for more steel, more chips, and more grain. Ethan, ready to play the role of mover? Early the next morning, Outpost Zero is buzzing with activity. Squad 1 handles security, Squad 2 clears road obstacles, and Squad 3 carries sacks and engineering shovels. Ryan is deploying. Target, corner gold shop. Distance, 150 meters. Threat level, low. Holding a cup of hot soy milk, I stand at the observation window. General Marcus has issued a ban. Before the surrounding area is fully cleared, I cannot step outside the outpost. I fully support that. Move out. A squad files out and the muffled crack of suppressed rifles becomes the only melody of the morning. Through Ryan's helmet camera, I feel like I'm there in person. 5 minutes later, they reach the gold shop. Safety confirmed, Ryan reports as he leads the team inside. No zombies clear, tactical lights flick on, and the store instantly glows in golden splendor. Holy crap! Watching the screen, I can't help but curse aloud. Gold necklaces, gold bracelets, gold rings. They litter the counters and floor like trash. Ryan picks up a gold bar, wipes it on his sleeve and holds it up to the camera. Advisor Ethan, how's the quality? Back on Earth, gold goes for about 600 per gram. This bar alone is worth 60,000, I mutter to myself. But here, it's not even worth a pack of instant noodles. Naturally, Victor's voice comes in. Gold's value comes from social consensus as a universal equivalent. When social order collapses, that consensus disappears with it. In this world, the only hard currency is survival resources. Water, food, medicine, weapons. But on our side, Victor pauses, it remains the lifeblood of industry, foreign exchange reserves, hard currency for purchasing advanced technology, and strategic materials. Stop standing around. Ryan pockets the gold bar. Get to work. What happens next leaves me stunned. Crash! A soldier smashes a glass display case with his rifle butt, while another swings an engineering shovel, scooping gold and silver jewelry along with the shattered glass into military-grade sacks like he's shoveling sand. There's a safe here. Blow it, Ryan says casually. Yes, sir. With a muffled boom, the heavy reinforced door blasts open, revealing dozens of 1-kilogram gold bars and a stack of paper-like banknotes. Ryan picks up a 1,000 credit bill. It bears the image of a space elevator and a borderless map of East Asia, labeled Central Bank of the East Asian Federation. Space elevators, regional unification, my mind reels. This was a civilization with highly advanced technology, possibly even on the verge of an interstellar age, and yet, it still fell. The soldiers stack the gold bars like bricks into transport crates. Ryan orders everything, including the worthless cash and chip-embedded electronics, to be taken back. Reporting, Commander. Half an hour later, a soldier reports. Inventory complete. Initial estimate gold totals approximately 52 kilograms, plus 15 kilograms of platinum and diamonds, jade, and other jewelry totaling 52 kilograms, over 30 million in value, from just one small jewelry store. I feel like I can barely breathe. This isn't a wasteland, it's a treasure trove. Pack up. The soldiers carry the gold-filled sacks and crates as easily as if they were potatoes. 20 minutes later, I finally hold one of those heavy gold bars in my hand. It feels unreal. General Marcus looks at the spoils, smiling with satisfaction. With this startup capital, we can move forward boldly with the next phase of procurement. He turns to me. Ethan, your contribution is significant. Another one in the books. Sir, this is nothing. I set down the gold bar. Compared to this, I'm more interested in the footage Ryan sent back earlier. I point toward the distant downtown business district beyond the window. If we can find the bank vaults over there, or the tech company servers, my gaze sharpens. That's where the real treasure lies. General Marcus nods in approval. Easy, we eat one bite at a time. General Marcus turns to Ryan. How's drone reconnaissance going? Reporting. A technician switches the screen. A hummingbird drone just detected an unusual heat source in an abandoned construction zone 2 kilometers from here. A red dot stands out on the screen. Heat source? I lean in. More than just a heat source. The technician zooms in. After spectral analysis, this appears to be a mirror-reflected sunlight signal, very rhythmic, like Morse code. Morse code? General Marcus's eyes sharpen. Translate it. It's SOS, the technician replies. Repeating 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. The command room falls silent in an instant. A survivor. Victor pushes up his glasses, his tone level. General Marcus is silent for a moment, then issues a decisive order. Make contact. We need a local guide. Contact plan has been drafted, Victor says in front of the tactical map. Target is located in an abandoned construction zone 21 kilometers from Outpost Zero. Heat source analysis indicates only 1 survivor. Just 1 person? I'm a little surprised. In a hellhole like that, how could 1 person survive alone? That's precisely what we need to find out, General Marcus says gravely. Anyone who can survive independently in the apocalypse is no ordinary person. We need their survival experience, and more importantly, their knowledge of this world. Operation Codename Wayfinder. Executing unit, 1st Recon Squad of the Special Forces Brigade, equipped with a hummingbird drone swarm. Ryan snaps to attention and salutes. Mission will be completed. For this operation, I can only be a spectator. What if they're hostile? I can't help but ask. Courtesy first for second, General Marcus says calmly. We come bearing goodwill, but if they reject that goodwill, we have more than enough firepower to calm them down. That afternoon, 2 hummingbird drones take off first. Ryan and 4 reconnaissance soldiers follow closely behind, using building shadows to advance quickly and silently. Stay concealed, Ryan's voice comes over the comms. Ravager track spotted 200 meters ahead. On screen, I see a creature crawling on top of a bus. 10 minutes later, the team reaches the abandoned construction zone. Target is on the top floor of Building 3, Ryan reports. In the drone footage, a frail woman is holding a broken makeup mirror adjusting its angle toward the sun. She wears filthy work clothes, with a makeshift filter at her feet, and a cracked bowl beside it holding only a shallow layer of murky liquid. She is clearly at the end of her rope. She's using a mirror to send signals. Such an old-fashioned method. Looks like communication equipment has long been down. This means she hasn't given up hope, Victor analyzes calmly. As long as there's a will to live, there's a basis for negotiation. Poor thing. Looking at the bowl of murky water, I murmur to myself. The desperate, humble struggle for survival cuts deep into my heart. Commander, should we initiate contact? The observer asks. General Marcus nods. Execute Plan A, drop supplies, establish initial trust. Understood. The drone slowly descends. The woman on the rooftop immediately becomes alert. She grabs a sharpened rebar and crouches behind a concrete pillar, her eyes locked on the drone. Don't be afraid, a gentle synthesized voice emerges from the drone's speaker. We mean no harm. The woman doesn't respond, only grips the rebar tighter. Thud. The drone drops a clear sealed package, landing precisely in front of her. Inside are a compressed biscuit, a box of amoxicillin, and a 550 milliliter bottle of mineral water. In that gray, desolate world, that bottle of water is like a diamond. I clearly see her swallow hard, a primal craving overriding all reason. This is just a gesture, the drone's voice continues. If you're willing to talk, we need some intelligence in exchange. We can provide more food and water like this. The woman stares fixedly at the bottle, her eyes wrestling through a storm of conflict. Finally, she carefully grabs the package. She rips open the wrapping, twists off the cap, tilts her head back, takes just one small sip, closes her eyes, and savors it slowly. 2 streams of clear tears trickle down her grime-covered cheeks. Contact successful. Ryan's voice comes through the channel. The fish took the bait. Watching this, I feel a flood of mixed emotions. 1 bottle of water is enough to break her? To a drowning person, a single straw is the whole world, General Marcus says, watching the screen, his gaze deep. And we hold an entire ark in our hands. As the sweet liquid slides into her stomach, the woman named Sophia rapidly composes herself. As a former virologist, reason is her instinct. She shields the rest of the water, lifts her head, and her eyes return to scrutiny and assessment. They have drones, purified water, and medicine. There's only one conclusion. This is a powerful force with a complete industrial supply chain. What do you want? Sophia's voice is hoarse, but clear. I have no supplies. All I have is my life and what's in my head. We want intelligence. The drone's voice remains gentle. About this city, about the zombies, about the distribution of existing factions, the more detailed the better. All right. Sophia takes a deep breath and pulls out a folded map, covered in markings of various colored ink. This is what I've gathered over the past 3 months. She spreads the map before the camera. Red zones are heavy infection areas. Stay away at all costs. Ravagers and even spewers roam there. Blue zones are safe houses and supply caches, but most have already been picked clean. Black crosses are the Vortex Syndicate's control zones. They've taken over the northern industrial park. They have heavy weapons and are extremely hostile to outsiders. They capture survivors to use as slaves, even for experiments. This woman is a real intelligence asset, Victor says. Immediately take screenshots and model this. Import all this data into the tactical map. What else? I press through the microphone. Besides this, is there any other unusual information? Like anything strange? Sophia thinks for a moment, a flash of disgust and fear in her eyes. Recently, the Vortex Syndicate has been frantically collecting zombie heads. Heads? I freeze. More accurately, what's inside the heads, Sophia explains. They extract something that looks like a crystal. The word crystal strikes me like lightning. I instinctively glance at General Marcus and Victor. Victor lunges to the microphone, speaking rapidly. What color is the crystal? How big? Does it glow? Most are gray-white, only about the size of a fingernail, but I've seen them sacrifice an entire squad just to seize one red crystal. Crystal core. Victor draws a sharp breath, his voice trembling with excitement. Sir, if I'm not mistaken, this could be an entirely new high-energy substance. Ask her if she knows its specific use. General Marcus speaks gravely. I know a little, Sophia says. I've heard Vortex members call it the blood of God. They believe it grants power to humans, but the side effects are massive. Direct use leads to death or mutation. Grants power? My heart starts pounding. If the dual world gate needs to upgrade, it must require some kind of special energy. Could this be it? Ethan, General Marcus suddenly speaks up. It seems we need to engage this survivor more deeply. He looks at the woman on the screen, a flicker of appreciation in his eyes. Bring her back. General Marcus issues the order. We need her. Your intelligence is very valuable, the drone's voice comes through again. In return, we can offer you sanctuary. If you're willing, we can take you to a safe place. Clean water, hot food, no zombies, and no Vortex Syndicate. Sophia is stunned. In this hell, does such a place really exist? When she glances down at the bottle of water in her hand, the words of refusal die on her tongue. Sophia bites her lip, her voice trembling. I accept. Very good. The drone slowly rises. Stay where you are. Don't move. Our extraction team is right downstairs. Also, one more question, the voice suddenly asks. What's your profession? Sophia hesitates, then straightens her spine, radiating a unique presence. My name is Sophia. I was the director of the third laboratory at the Ridgemont Biotech Institute. The Z virus was discovered there, by us. When Sophia announces this identity, the command center falls into brief silence. We haven't just picked up a survivor, we've picked up a living knowledge base. Escort her back to the outpost immediately. General Marcus makes the call instantly. Raise security to the highest level. Ryan, if you encounter resistance, you are authorized to use any means necessary. Understood. 15 minutes later, Sophia is brought into Outpost Zero. As she crosses the airtight door and sees the silver-white sci-fi style space, she freezes completely. This isn't a survivor camp. It looks more like a pre-apocalypse national-level laboratory. Welcome, Dr. Sophia. I smile and extend my hand. I'm Ethan, I introduce myself. Where is this? Well, you can think of it as a special operations base. I'm Sophia, she says quietly, but her eyes drift involuntarily toward the plate of steaming self-heating rice on the table. Hungry? I push the plate toward her. Eat first. We'll talk after. Sophia practically lunges at it, shoveling the scorching rice into her mouth in huge mouthfuls. It burns her so badly her tears flow, yet she swallows it down with the tears. Watching the scene, I feel a pang in my chest. 10 minutes later, she has devoured everything. Thank you. Her eyes clear again, and even sharpen. Now we can talk about the deal. No rush. Victor walks over, holding a sealed bag containing a gray-white crystal, the very one Ryan extracted from the Ravager's head earlier. Dr. Sophia, is this the crystal core you mentioned? Sophia glances at it, her pupils contracting slightly. Yes, that's the lowest tier of crystal core, typically found in Tier 1 mutants. What exactly is it? Victor stares intently. We call it a high-energy biopolymer. Sophia shifts into professional mode. The Z virus restructures the energy metabolism of organisms, concentrating energy in the brain to form this crystal. To put it simply, it's the battery of a mutant. Battery. My heart leaps. Exactly, Sophia continues. The Vortex Syndicate discovered that directly consuming a crystal core has an extremely small chance of granting enhancement, but the mortality rate is 99%. Energy. My attention locks onto that word. Instinctively, I reach out and touch the crystal core through the sealed bag. The instant my fingertip makes contact, a soft chime rings out in my mind, followed by a translucent stream of information appearing on my retina. Absorbable energy source detected. Tier 1 biocrystal core. Energy purity 12%. Heavy impurities, equivalent to 12 energy points. Initiate absorption. Current dual world gate level 1. Upgrade progress 0%. Upgrade effect. Expand spatial gate to 5 by 5 meters. Unlock matter transport channel. Permit large vehicle passage. I freeze. Then a wave of ecstasy surges through me. Just as I suspected, this is the key to upgrading. The whole point of handing this over to the nation is to leverage state power to hunt mutated creatures, harvest crystal cores, and upgrade the dual world gate. A perfect closed loop. Ethan, are you alright? Victor notices my odd reaction. I snap back to attention, suppressing my excitement, realizing this isn't the place to talk. Sir, I have an important update. I gesture to General Marcus, pointing toward the adjacent encrypted communications room. Regarding the use of this crystal core, the airtight door closes. Go ahead, General Marcus says, looking at me. Sir, I know what this thing is for. I take a deep breath. It can charge the gate. Charge? Yes. I point toward the portal. The moment I touched it, I received feedback. This substance provides the energy needed to upgrade the dual world gate. As long as we have enough of them, I can expand the gate, large enough for tanks to drive through. That one sentence sets the entire command center on fire. How many? General Marcus asks bluntly. For this low-tier kind, roughly 100, I estimate. General Marcus turns to the tactical map, his gaze landing on a red-marked zombie horde gathering point, his eyes turning razor-sharp. Ryan, Sir, notify the entire Special Forces Brigade to assemble. General Marcus points at the red dot on the map, his tone chilling. I want this area surrounded. Since these creatures carry the energy we need, they are no longer threats. They are walking ore deposits. From this moment on, we begin mining operations. After issuing the mining order, General Marcus's gaze returns to Sophia on the live feed. Now that Dr. Sophia's identity is confirmed, I recommend transferring her to the BSL-4 lab immediately, Victor says. No, General Marcus refuses firmly. Until we've completely ruled out viral incubation and mutation risks, she absolutely cannot cross that gate. Behind us are 1.4 billion people. We cannot take that risk. He turns and gives the order. Tell the engineering company to speed up, complete the full sealing of the building housing Outpost Zero as fast as possible, and construct a fully sealed medical isolation chamber next to the portal in apartment 301. Since she can't come over for now, we'll bring civilization to her instead. After a full day of sweeping operations by the Special Forces Brigade, Building 4 and the surrounding area have been cleared. Engineers are now sealing every window with thick steel plates. My voice comes through the loudspeaker. Dr. Sophia, I'm sure you've figured it out by now. We come from another world. For biosecurity reasons, we cannot invite you through the gate just yet. But in Medical Bay 301 next door, you will be completely safe. Sophia gives a bitter smile. She understands she is a potential carrier. I understand. Sophia takes a deep breath. As long as I get clean water, anywhere is fine. When she walks into the Medical Bay Zero converted from apartment 301, she is still stunned by the professional setup. A silver-white negative pressure isolation tent, brand new medical equipment with blinking indicator lights, ECG monitors, blood gas analyzers, spiral CT scanners. Her fingers brush the outer casings. They look a bit bulkier than what she's used to, but they are brand new and perfectly maintained. Two female military doctors guide her into the shower room, and warm, purified water cascades down. Sophia stands stiffly under the shower head, as if trying to wash away every mark left by 12 years of the apocalypse. After decontamination, she changes into a fresh hospital gown. Sophia lies down on the soft medical bed. At that moment, the isolation bay's transfer window opens. Wearing a lightweight protective suit, I stand outside the window, holding a meal tray. Dr. Sophia, General Marcus specifically instructed that since your stomach hasn't seen real food in so long, your first meal can't be too heavy. This is a specially prepared nutritional meal. I smile through the glass. I brought it over personally. Consider it a greeting from a fellow. The cover is lifted, revealing a bowl of millet porridge, a small plate of seasonal vegetables, 2 boiled eggs, and a small bowl of glossy red braised pork. Sophia stares fixedly at the bowl of pork. Across 12 years of darkness, the familiar aroma of meat slams into her chest like a hammer. This is for me? Sophia's voice trembles violently. Eat as much as you want, I say gently. Trembling, Sophia picks up the spoon and brings a piece of meat to her mouth. In that instant, the string she had kept so tightly in her heart, strung for so long, snaps. She covers her mouth, going from muffled whimpers to full-on sobs. As she cries, she shoves food into her mouth desperately. Tears drop into the porridge, mixing with the braised pork as she swallows it all. She is just an ordinary woman who struggled in hell for 12 years, finally tasting human warmth again. I stand quietly outside the window, silently passing her a packet of tissues. Sophia eats every last bite. She wipes away her tears, and when she looks up again, the fragility in her eyes is gone, replaced by unprecedented resolve. Mr. Ethan, Sophia looks at me, her voice hoarse but resolute. I know what you're worried about. I'm a virologist. I understand the horror of the Z virus better than anyone. I will stay here and cooperate with all your research. I will give you everything in my head about this world. She glances toward the wall, as if she can see the portal next door. I have only one request. If one day you confirm I'm no longer a danger, please let me go see the sun on the other side. In the command vehicle, General Marcus watches the monitor in long silence. Tell her, that day will come. Order the engineering company to work in 24-hour rotating shifts. Complete the airtight retrofit of Building 4 within 3 days. I want our soldiers to be able to remove their gas masks and breathe freely inside this building. Construction at Outpost Zero is in full swing. Inside Medical Bay 301, a cross-world scientific dialogue officially begins. These are all the materials we've collected so far on what you call the Z virus. Victor's voice comes through the comms. Sophia studies the data on the screen, her brow furrowing slightly. These readings are too shallow. The Z virus is more like a nanoscale biomechanical entity. Biomechanical? Victor frowns deeply. That's its disguise, Sophia explains. Not only can it rewrite DNA, it can also restructure the host's energy metabolism. That's why zombies can survive without eating, and higher-tier mutants can release energy attacks, because inside them they all carry crystal cores. Hearing crystal core, I jolt with attention. I'm holding the very crystal extracted from the Ravager's head in my hand. Dr. Sophia, since you're a virus expert, you must know what this thing is made of, I ask. I only know part of it, Sophia says, her expression grave. That one is a Tier 1 crystal core with heavy impurities. Its main component is an unknown biopiezoelectric ceramic. What use is it to us? I press. Sophia falls silent for a moment, as if hesitating. In my world, some people try to enhance themselves by injecting crystal core extract, but my father always opposed it because the mortality rate is extremely high. Even survivors face an extremely high risk of mutation. This thing is dangerous. Very dangerous. I smile. Don't worry. What we want isn't its bioenhancement function, but its physical properties. Saying this, I pick up the sealed bag and walk to the large floor-to-ceiling bulletproof glass. On the other side of the glass stands the deep blue dual-world gate. Dr. Sophia, since even you don't know its energy magnitude, let's verify it together. What are you doing? Sophia looks puzzled. I don't answer. I take a deep breath, press my hand against the glass, and stare intently at the crystal core in my hand. I silently command in my mind, absorb. The next moment, Sophia watches in shock as the gray-white crystal core in my hand begins to glow. Wisps of pale blue light flow out from the crystal, passing right through the sealed bag and the bulletproof glass, streaming directly into the dual-world gate. The gate's swirl suddenly accelerates, a deep resonating across the entire floor as the halo blazes outward. What's the principle behind this? Sophia's eyes widen, watching the scene in disbelief. It was just devoured by the gate? I release my hand. All that remains in the sealed bag is a small pile of gray-white powder. At the same time, the message I had been waiting for pops up in my mind. Successfully absorbed 1 Tier 1 biocrystal core. Energy gained 12 points. Current upgrade progress 12%. Just as I expected. I clench my fist, a smile rising at the corner of my mouth. Dr. Sophia. I turn around to see Sophia, stunned, speechless. This is what this thing truly does for us. It's not poison. It's a key. A key? Sophia murmurs. Exactly. I point at the portal. This gate, it's hungry, and these crystal cores are its food. As long as we feed it enough, it grows bigger, stronger, more stable. In that moment, whether it's Victor on the other end of the screen, or General Marcus in the command vehicle, they are all deeply shaken by this scene. Crystal cores equal energy. Zombies equal walking ore deposits. The moment this equation holds true, the entire strategic landscape flips instantly. Zombies, once a nightmare in our eyes, have now become a precious resource. General Marcus's voice comes through the comms. Ethan, are you certain that only 100 of these Tier 1 crystal cores will complete the first stage upgrade? Certain. I watch the progress bar in my mind, and I have a feeling the upgraded dual-world gate will give us a massive surprise. Excellent. General Marcus slams the table. Relay my orders. The entire Special Forces Brigade enters Level 1 combat readiness. Engineering Company, clear an armored corridor to the portal immediately. Since the zombies on that side carry the energy we need in their heads, then we'll go dig it out of them. In the medical bay of the other world, Sophia watches all of this. Her world's destroyers, and we treat them as resources. Is this what civilizational disparity looks like? She murmurs. I can sense that she believes our intervention will utterly reshape the fate of her wasteland, not as salvation, but as conquest. Level 1 combat readiness. Level 1 combat readiness. Alarms echo across both worlds. Squad after squad of soldiers pours out through the portal, rapidly deploying defensive formations in the street. Attention, this is not a drill. Everyone, check the seal on your gas masks. Activate IFF systems. Heavy weapon squads, take position. Ryan stands on the rooftop, holding binoculars, his gaze cold and sharp. Behind him, 2 heavy machine guns are mounted and ready, barrels aimed at the far end of the street. Reporting to command. Blur squad in position. Begin operation. General Marcus's voice is steady and powerful. 500 meters from the outpost, 2 drones hover in the air, loudspeakers slung beneath them. A song that hasn't been heard in this wasteland for 12 years suddenly blasts out. The vast horizon is my love. At the foot of the rolling green hills, flowers are in full bloom. The deafening music shatters the silence of the apocalypse in an instant. Zombies hidden everywhere erupt, like hornets whose nest has been struck. Amid countless snarls and shrieks, a dense swarming tide of figures merges into a flood. Hello. Date 2 drones. Bait taken. The recon company commander pilots the drone, dragging the horde toward our position. All units attention. Targets entering firing range. Distance 500 meters, 300, 100. Ryan watches the surging horde below, at least 500 strong, with several lightning-fast Ravagers mixed in. But today, they face a modern military force. Open fire! At the command, the 2 rooftop machine guns roar first, 12.7mm rounds instantly shredding the zombies in the front line. Immediately after, dozens of automatic rifles open fire simultaneously, crossfire nets blanketing the entire street. This isn't combat, it is industrial-scale slaughter. Those zombies, as fragile as paper, fall in waves before they can reach the defensive line. Ravager spotted in Zone 3, requesting sniper support. Copy. On the rooftop, a sniper calmly pulls the trigger. Sophia confirmed earlier that this mutant called the Ravager has a tough hide. Standard rifle rounds rarely kill it with one shot. Bang. A Ravager attempting to leap forward has its head explode like a watermelon. In less than 10 minutes, the gunfire gradually thins out. The street returns to dead silence, leaving only scattered limbs and the thick stench of rot. It's over already? Sophia, watching through the monitor, is dumbstruck. She has seen hordes that drove people to despair, yet before these soldiers they collapsed so easily. This is the power of firepower. I walk beside her, a hint of pride in my voice. Dr. Sophia, welcome to a world where truth lies within artillery range. Clean up the battlefield. Ryan's voice rises again. Engineering Company, move in. Chemical defense, provide cover. We must extract the crystal cores before their energy dissipates. Dozens of soldiers in hazmat suits rush forward, enduring the stench. There's one over here too, Commander. Dug up a red one. Looks like a Tier 2 crystal core. Reports of success keep streaming through the radio. I stand before the portal, watching bag after bag of blood-stained crystal cores being delivered back. In my mind, the system notifications keep ringing non-stop. Tier 1 crystal core absorbed energy plus 12. Tier 1 crystal core absorbed energy plus 11. Tier 2 crystal core absorbed energy plus 100. The upgrade progress bar surges wildly. Finally, when the last bag of crystal cores is delivered to the gate, energy charging complete. Current progress 100%. Dual world gate level upgraded to level 2. Spatial gate size expanded to 5 by 5 meters, adjustable. New feature unlocked, matter transport channel stable state. New authorization unlocked, bi-directional large vehicle passage permit. New authorization unlocked, spatial anchor relocation. Boom. The original circular swirling portal suddenly bursts into brilliant blue light. When the radiance fades, what stands before me is a rectangular light screen with straight, stable, mirror-like edges, like an interstellar gateway embedded in my bedroom wall. The room, however, is too small. The light screen presses against both the ceiling and the floor, nearly filling the entire wall. Spatial constraint detected. Gate dimensions auto-adapted. Maximum deployable size 5 by 5 meters. Player may adjust gate size at will via thought. I look at the massive wall of light before me, a smile rising at the corner of my mouth. I turn around, speaking into the comms. Sir, the gate is open, and it's even bigger than we expected, but I point at the ceiling. We're gonna need a bigger room. Time to give it a new home. A new home? On the other end of the comms, General Marcus looks at the portal on the screen, a flash of gold in his eyes. Are you saying the gate can now be relocated? Yes, sir. I nod. It's not unlimited, but I can move it to any wall nearby, as long as the wall is big enough for it to fully deploy. Wonderful. General Marcus suddenly rises. Notify engineering. Initiate Plan B immediately. Plan B is a preset second-phase strategy. An engineering unit has already secretly taken over the underground bomb shelter beneath the residential complex and converted it into an underground fortress. On the otherworld side, at Outpost Zero, all personnel attention. Prepare to evacuate Apartment 302. After receiving the order, Ryan begins organizing the dismantling of defenses. Where are we moving to? Sophia asks, puzzled. The defense system here just took shape. Isn't it a waste to abandon it now? Not a waste. I smile at her through the light screen. Because where we're going is a real fortress. And, I smile mysteriously, we need to make room for some big toys. Ryan, take Dr. Sophia to the underground parking lot. We'll meet there. Yes, sir. The migration unfolds quickly. On the real-world side, the underground base has cleared out a massive concrete wall. On the otherworld side, the engineering company has cleared a space at the parking lot entrance. Coordinates between both worlds calibrated. Wall structural strength confirmed. Otherworld personnel have evacuated to safe zones. Migration may begin. Inside Apartment 302, I take one last look around the room. Retract. With a flick of my thought, the rectangular light screen instantly shrinks, turning into a stream of light that disappears into my forehead. Let's go. I turn and leave. Escorted by special agents, I head straight for the bomb shelter entrance. 10 minutes later, on the real-world side, inside the underground civil defense complex, I stand before a massive concrete wall, with General Marcus and countless scientists behind me. I take a deep breath, press my palm against the wall. Deploy. Then a deep blue radiance spreads outward, instantly covering the entire wall. 5 meters tall, 5 meters wide. A perfectly square light screen, smooth as a mirror. Anyone standing before it feels tiny. So, this is the level 2 form of the dual world gate. General Marcus stands at the command platform, his heart racing. Sir, passage test complete. The other side opens into the underground parking lot of Brocade Gardens. Open space, no obstacles. Excellent. General Marcus picks up the red command phone. This is Marcus. Order the Iron Tide to deploy. Rumble. The ground starts to tremble. The first to appear is a Type 99 main battle tank. This 55-ton king of land warfare rolls in with its head held high. Its long 125mm smoothbore cannon radiates suffocating pressure. Behind it comes a second, then a third, an entire tank company. Right after come infantry fighting vehicles, self-propelled artillery, and heavy military trucks loaded with supplies. This is the power of a nation. True dimensional warfare. Target Base 0, Otherworld. Move out. The lead Type 99 tank advances with unstoppable momentum, rolling slowly toward the portal. The light screen ripples, and the massive tank body sinks into it, inch by inch. On the Otherworld side, the dim parking lot entrance is suddenly lit up by 2 beams of headlights, accompanied by a thunderous roar. The Type 99 tank charges out from the portal in the wall like a steel beast. Then the second, then the third. An entire mechanized heavy armor unit miraculously appears in the apocalyptic ruins. Sophia stands in a corner, completely frozen. She knew we were strong, but she never imagined this level of power. Tanks, and top-tier main battle tanks at that. From deep inside the parking lot, a few zombie groans rise. A dozen zombies stagger out, including a massive brute among them. The lead Type 99 tank doesn't even turn its turret. It just maintains speed and rolls straight over them. Crack. A bone-chilling sound of shattering bones rings out. Whether ordinary zombies or the brute, against a 55-ton mass of steel they are no different. All instantly turned into piles of flesh. This is the Iron Tide. This is what we call crushing dominance. Standing on top of an armored vehicle, I speak to Sophia, who is still in shock. Dr. Sophia, let me reintroduce this place. Welcome to the Otherworld Development Office, Base 0. I point to the armored convoy pouring out behind me. a smile rising at the corner of my mouth. And this is just the beginning. The roar of the engines draws zombies within a 2-kilometer radius. They snarl and shriek, surging like a gray-black tide toward the parking lot entrance. Reporting, radar detects a large mass of biological heat signatures approaching. Count exceeds 3,000 and rising. Inside the command center, the communications officer's voice is rapid but composed. General Marcus doesn't even raise an eyebrow. He calmly issues the order. Saves us the trouble of clearing building by building. Let them come closer. Order the armored detachment to seal the entrance. Free fire. At the parking lot entrance, 3 Type 99 main battle tanks line up side by side, sealing the entrance like a wall of steel. Behind them are infantry fighting vehicles in heavy machine gun positions. The first wave of the zombie horde charges in roaring. A few lightning-fast stalkers leap high trying to attack from above. The commander of the lead Type 99 tank watches coldly. The 12.7mm anti-aircraft machine gun on top of the tank roars first. Then the 30mm autocannon and heavy machine guns open fire at the same time. Dense tracer rounds weave a net of death. The stalkers leaping in midair are instantly shredded into a rain of flesh. The zombies in the front row fall like wheat under a scythe. Those behind climb over the corpses of their own kind and keep moving forward, only to be slaughtered the same way. The 30mm cannon's high-explosive shells detonate at the center of the horde. Each round unleashes a storm of blood and gore. Not a single zombie makes it within 20 meters of the ramp. This isn't combat. It's a one-sided slaughter. 40 minutes later, the gunfire gradually fades. Outside the entrance, the slope is piled with a mountain of corpses 2 meters high. Several engineering bulldozers roar forward, flattening the bodies like sweeping garbage. Then a recovery squad in hazmat suits enters, skillfully searching for crystal cores. Tier 1 crystal core confirmed. Tier 1 crystal core confirmed. Tier 2 crystal core. This Ravager has a red one in its head. A soldier excitedly holds up a blood-red crystal. It was from that unlucky Ravager. Sophia stands on top of the command vehicle, watching all this in a daze. In her memory, a zombie horde meant death and despair. But today, those terrifying monsters are like raw materials on an assembly line, efficiently killed, cleared, and harvested. So this is the power of a nation, she murmurs. This is nothing yet. I appear beside her at some point, handing her a cold cola. Once the Air Force shows up, or we carpet bomb with missiles, then you'll see what real firepower coverage looks like. Sophia takes the cola, feeling a sense of unreality. Watching the show is one thing, but Dr. Sophia, your battlefield is over there. I point at a spot not far away where engineers are setting up a cluster of white modular structures at astonishing speed. Sophia follows my finger, and her eyes immediately lock onto the site. A BSL-3 mobile biolab? I say with a smile. We brought in a full set of field modular hospital units, and the highest grade mobile lab. Centrifuges, electron microscopes, gene sequencers, every top-tier piece of equipment you can think of, all hauled in for you. Sophia's hand trembles slightly. She knows exactly what these things are worth. Power, water, supplies, and security guarantees. For a scientist, this is heaven. As long as I have the equipment, I can deeply analyze these crystal cores. The Vortex Syndicate's crude method of direct ingestion is not only dangerous, but extremely inefficient. Give me 3 days combined with the data I brought out, and I will figure out its energy composition and find a truly safe way to use it. The light returns to Sophia's eyes. This is real science. Good. I nod, watching the Iron Tide cleaning up the battlefield in the distance. Several high-powered searchlights light up on the rooftop of the residential complex, piercing through 12 years of darkness over Ridgemont City, announcing the return of human civilization. This place is safe now. I take a deep breath. From today on, with this building as the center, a 2-kilometer radius is our absolute territory. Night falls. A few high-powered searchlights pierce the darkness of Ridgemont City. Base Zero has officially taken root in the apocalypse. Ridgemont Water Purification Plant Number 3. This is the largest pleasure den and den of demons in the wasteland. Electric wire runs along the towering walls, and heavy machine guns and searchlights are mounted on the watchtowers. Outside the walls lies a slum, where thousands of survivors are packed together like cattle, working for the inner city lords just to exchange for a bowl of murky water and half a moldy protein bar. The inner city, separated by a single wall, is another world entirely. Inside a luxurious office, Leo is elegantly slicing through the canned ham on his plate. As the intelligence chief of the Vortex Syndicate, he enjoys the most luxurious treatment in the apocalypse. This batch of ham doesn't taste as good as the last one. Leo frowns. Next time, send the collection team to scour the basements of the rich district. There should still be unexpired imported goods there. Yes, Mr. Leo. The beautiful secretary beside him responds nervously. Suddenly, an urgent knock sounds at the door. Leo's eyes turn cold instantly. Didn't I say not to disturb me during meals? Mr. Leo, big trouble. A trusted henchman rushes in, his face pale with terror. What's the panic? Leo glances at him with displeasure. Are the wild wolves harassing the water trucks again? Or the Relief Society, those cult fanatics, pulling another mass sacrifice stunt? Neither. The henchman swallows hard and points out the window. You should look for yourself. Leo snorts coldly and walks to the window. He yanks open the curtains. The next moment, the wine glass in his hand drops to the floor with a crash. His pupils contract sharply, staring fixedly out the window. About 5 kilometers southeast of the water plant, a blinding white pillar of light shoots straight into the sky. In these inky black ruins, it appears so dazzling, so brazen. That's near Ridgemont No. 1 High School. Brocade Gardens. Leo narrows his eyes. Isn't that a heavy infection zone? Who dares turn on the lights there? It's more than just lights. The henchman's voice trembles as he reports. Half an hour ago, that area suddenly erupted with dense explosions and gunfire. How big? Like a full military invasion. A muffled explosion clearly reaches their ears, making the bulletproof glass hum. Leo's expression changes completely. As a retired military man, he knows the sound all too well. That's a 30mm caliber high-explosive shell, he murmurs in disbelief. This rate of fire, this rhythm, that's a Type 04A infantry fighting vehicle's autocannon. And that's the sound of a 12.7mm anti-aircraft machine gun. In an apocalypse where even rifle bullets have become hard currency, who would have organized heavy firepower on this scale? Could it be remnants of the Federation government? No, that's impossible. Leo immediately dismisses the thought. The Ridgemont military district was overrun by the zombie tide 8 years ago. I verified it personally. Mr. Leo, could it be that the wild wolves dug up some pre-war weapons depot? Leo sneers. That brute tiger? Give him a cannon and he'd only use it as a hammer. And even if he had one, he wouldn't have that many shells. He points at the pillar of light and the continuous gunfire, his finger trembling slightly. Listen to this. They've been at it for nearly an hour. That's saturation fire. Every second of ammunition fired out could buy us 100 slaves. Even at our peak, we wouldn't dare spend like that. After fear comes deep greed. A wolf-like gleam flashes in Leo's eyes. No matter who is over there, it means a massive treasure, possibly an arsenal, possibly an energy facility, possibly even a stockpile of crystal cores. Relay my orders. Leo stops walking, recovering his usual cold demeanor, though the fanaticism in his eyes can't be hidden. Dispatch Nightowl squad. The henchman shudders. Mr. Leo, you're deploying Nightowl? They're our most elite. Since the other side has heavy firepower, sending ordinary people would be a death sentence, Leo says coldly. Have Cyrus lead the team. Give them the best equipment, night vision, suppressors, and those treasured Gauss rifles. He pauses, then pulls a syringe glowing with faint blue light from his drawer and tosses it to the henchman. Tell Cyrus if he runs into something tough, he's authorized to use serum too. The henchman fumbles to catch the syringe, his hands trembling. That serum can briefly grant explosive strength to the user, but the side effects are massive. The mission has only one objective. Find out who they are. Leo walks back to the window, looks at the pillar of light, and makes a slicing motion across his throat. If they're powerful outsiders just passing through, we'll play nice and propose an alliance. But if they're just lucky, fat sheep, the corner of his mouth curls into a cruel arc, then we devour them, skin and bones. Every bullet, every crystal core over there belongs to Vortex. Meanwhile, 2 kilometers from Brocade Gardens, at the lair of the wild wolves, this place looks more like a savage wasteland. The walls built from scrapped cars are hung with the skulls of mutated beasts. Right now, the camp is dead silent. Everyone is gathered, staring slack-jawed at the firelight in the distance. The leader, Tiger, stands at the highest point, holding a paint-chipped monocular, his eyes fixed on that direction. Boss, should we go join the party? A subordinate sidles up, his eyes gleaming with greed. Listen to that. Has to be a big fat target. They've been at it so long they must be running on fumes. Should we sneak in after they finish off the zombies and scavenge? Maybe we can grab a few good guns. Tiger backhands the subordinate across the face. Scavenge? You want to scavenge your own ashes? He lowers the monocular and wipes cold sweat from his forehead. Are you fucking deaf? That's a tank. A real tracked tank. And that thumping sound? That's an infantry fighting vehicle's autocannon. Tiger grabs the subordinate by the collar and roars. Back when I was running the streets, I saw it all. That kind of continuous fire, one burst could plow our whole shitty camp flat. You want to go scavenge with a few crappy nail guns? One shell from them, and there won't be a scrap of you left. He releases the subordinate, forcing himself to calm down. As a regional warlord, he has survived this long thanks to instincts sharper than a mutant rat's. The moment that pillar of light lit up, he felt a chill unlike anything before. It was the helplessness of facing a higher dimensional power. Pass the order. Everyone stays put inside. Put out every campfire. Anyone who dares go near that area, I'll skin them myself before he gets a chance. And pull all the outer sentries back 200 meters. Don't let the big shots over there think we're trying to start something. Watching their usually unstoppable boss act so cautious, the subordinates stayed dead silent. Tiger looks at the distant pillar of light shooting into the sky, his eyes full of awe and dread. Everything's about to change, he murmurs. Ridgemont City is about to get a new master. From now on, the loudest voice in this territory won't be the Vortex Syndicate, won't be us, but that bunch of brutal ones over there. Night is pitch black. The wind howls, mixed with the distant snarls of mutated beasts. A shadow leaps from an overpass like a ghost, followed by a second, a third, 5 in total. They wear black hide armor, gas masks on their faces. The red night vision goggles flicker with an eerie glow in the darkness. These are the sharpest fangs of the Vortex Syndicate, the Nightowl squad. The Captain Cyrus kneels on one knee and makes a stop gesture. He glances at his tactical watch, the hands pointed to in the morning. Brocade Gardens is just ahead, Cyrus says quietly through his throat mic. Strong light source in the target zone. Stay concealed. Captain, the gunfire just stopped. Mike's voice comes through, earpiece. Looks like those fat sheep are done fighting. They're probably exhausted, passed out in their nests. Don't get cocky. Cyrus's voice is cold. Anyone who can make that much noise isn't an ordinary survivor. The boss said, this mission is reconnaissance. Find out who they are, and if their defenses are loose. He touches the poison blade at his waist, a cold gleam flashing in his eyes. We grab a prisoner, and bring him back. Cyrus is confident. As a Tier 1 speed enhancer, his neural response is 3 times that of a normal human. In his view, no matter what heavy firepower the enemy has, in nighttime urban combat, it's still the evolved who rule. Tanks and cannons in the ruins are just sitting ducks. Move. 5 shadows split apart in an instant, using cover to advance toward the pillar of light. But what he doesn't know is that 500 meters above his head, a pair of invisible eyes is locked onto him. Well, pretty professional moves. Inside the Base Zero command center, I hold a bowl of instant noodles, slurping while watching the massive high-definition screen. The image shows a clear grayscale thermal view. 5 distinct human-shaped outlines are infiltrating, with real-time data even labeled beside them. Target Alpha, the leader, heart rate 85, body temperature 37 Celsius, armed with a high-hardness alloy blade, possibly carrying biochemical toxin at his waist. Target Bravo, the assault specialist, heart rate 92, carrying a short-barreled firearm, abnormal muscle density, suspected strength enhancer. So this is the famous Cyrus? Ryan curls his lip with disdain. This level of stealth wouldn't even pass the first round of selection in our Special Forces Brigade. Look at the one on the left sticking his butt up so high. Afraid the sniper might miss him. For apocalypse survivors, this is actually decent. General Marcus holds his teacup, his tone calm. They know how to use terrain, know how to spread the formation, and even wear anti-thermal hide armor. Too bad their equipment philosophy is stuck 20 years in the past. He points at a small red dot on the screen. Our Hummingbird microdrone is hovering 100 meters above their heads, and they don't have a clue. This is the generational gap. That so-called anti-thermal hide is like a transparent stocking in front of military-grade multispectral detection radar. Sir, do we take them out? Ryan asks for orders. The sniper team is locked onto all targets. One word from you and their heads will pop in 3 seconds. Take it easy. I swallow the noodles in my mouth. Since the Vortex Syndicate sent gifts to our doorstep, why would we turn them away? Didn't Sophia say she needs test subjects? These evolved would be perfect for her dissection research, cooperative research. General Marcus nods. Capture them alive. If we want to establish dominance, let them experience what modern warfare looks like. Order Special Forces Team 1 to close the net. At this moment, Cyrus suddenly feels an inexplicable chill. It feels like being watched by some terrifying prehistoric beast. As an evolved, this instinct has saved his life countless times. Halt. Cyrus suddenly stops, instantly ducking under the chassis of an abandoned bus. What's wrong, Captain? Something's off. Cyrus's voice is dry. It's too quiet. Yes, too quiet. They've already penetrated to within 300 meters of the light source, but there's nothing here. Dead silent. Captain, look over there. The assault specialist suddenly cries out. Cyrus follows his finger, and his pupils contract sharply. In an open space 100 meters ahead, several massive shapes are parked. Those are tanks, but not the kind the Vortex Syndicate cobbles together from bulldozers. These are real killing machines with streamlined turrets and long, elegant barrels. Even sleeping, the steel menace radiating from them chokes the air. Those are main battle tanks. Cyrus's eyes widen. These aren't the Syndicate's pieced-together junk. These are real war machines. Not good. The turret's moving. Cyrus realizes in horror that the tank's turret has silently rotated, the black muzzle locking onto them instantly. At the same time, a powerful sense of crisis surges through him. It's too quiet. That means the other side already knew. Retreat! Retreat now! Cyrus practically roars the word. It's a trap! Move! He turns and runs, his earlier confidence completely gone. But it's too late. The instant they turn, bang! A muffled gunshot. Cyrus feels a sudden lightness in his right hand, followed by piercing pain. His tactical knife is shattered by a large caliber round. Sniper, 2 o'clock direction. 2 more gunshots ring out. The weapons in 2 other squad members' hands fly away. Who? Come out. If you've got the guts, fight me. The assault specialist Mike roars, pulling out a red syringe and stabbing it viciously at his own neck. That's serum too. But before the needle gets within a centimeter of his skin, a blue arc slashes across the night sky. Mike convulses violently, foam pouring from his mouth, and falls flat on his back. Damn it! Cyrus watches his teammate collapse, a flash of desperate madness in his eyes. Since I can't run, I fight. His leg muscles tense, and he bursts forward like lightning. But the instant he moves, 4 blinding white spotlights snap on around him at the same time, flooding his entire position with daylight. The intense light blinds Cyrus instantly. He screams, covering his eyes as he falls. Welcome to Base Zero! A cold voice echoes through the loudspeaker. Or rather, welcome to a modern information warfare annihilation operation. Cyrus forces back the agony, barely managing to crack his eyes open. He sees a scene he will never forget. Around him, dozens of fully armed soldiers have appeared from nowhere. They are equipped to the teeth, their rifles mounted with attachments he can't even name. Dozens of red laser dots clustered densely on him and his teammates. And directly in front of him, the Type 99 main battle tank has turned its turret. That thick 125mm smoothbore cannon is now pointed coldly at his head, from less than 20 meters away, using a main battle tank to aim at a man with a knife. Is this even fair? Despair. Total despair. Everything Cyrus took pride in looks like a clown's act in front of these steel beasts and infrared scopes. Don't shoot. Cyrus slowly raises his hands, and in front of the cannon that could blast him into dust, he slowly kneels. I surrender. 10 minutes later, inside the underground interrogation room of Base Zero, the once arrogant Nightowl squad is now locked into interrogation chairs like plucked chickens. When I walk in, Cyrus is hanging his head, his eyes empty. Look up. Ryan snaps coldly. Cyrus trembles as he raises his head and sees me, a man impossibly young, Let me introduce myself. I take a sip of coffee, smiling at him. My name is Ethan. I'm the owner of this place. Honestly, I'm pretty curious about your evolved abilities. I set down the cup and gesture toward the lab behind the one-way glass beside us. There, Sophia is wearing a white lab coat, excitedly calibrating equipment. My chief scientist happens to need a few live samples to study the effects of crystal cores on the human body. So the next conversation decides whether you end up lying on a dissection table as a sacrifice to science, or become labor prisoners hauling bricks for us out back. My smile remains bright, but in Cyrus's eyes it is more terrifying than a demon. Now tell me, when the Vortex Syndicate's higher-ups sent you here, did they happen to mention how they'd like to die? In the underground interrogation room of Base Zero, 1 hour has passed. The wounds on Cyrus's hand have been treated, but the pain still reminds him of everything that just happened. On the other side of the one-way glass, Sophia holds a test report, her brows furrowed. Results are in? I push the door open and step into the observation room. They're in. Sophia hands me the report, a hint of pity in her voice. What's the verdict? The so-called evolved are nothing but a complete fraud. Sophia points at the cellular microscopy image on the report. Their cellular activity is over 5 times that of a normal human. But this isn't natural evolution, it's the virus forcibly igniting them. Igniting? Yes. Like injecting excessive accelerant into an engine, Sophia explains with an analogy. The Z-virus mutant strain is continuously eroding their telomerase, forcibly overdrawing their cell's life force in exchange for brief bursts of power. At this rate of decay, she glances at Cyrus in the interrogation room. Even with no external injuries, he won't live past 3 to 5 years. By then he'll die from total organ failure, or completely degenerate into a mindless zombie. I raise an eyebrow. So you're saying the Vortex Syndicate's so-called God-making project is actually mass-producing short-lived puppets? Not just short-lived puppets, Sophia says coldly. They're walking biochemical bombs. This modification is irreversible. That man called Leo is treating living people as one-time consumables. Got it. I nod, a smile rising at the corner of my mouth. This intel is worth more than any defense map they could give us. With that, I take the report and walk into the interrogation room. A document is tossed in front of Cyrus. Take a look. I pull out a chair and sit. This is your medical report. Cyrus picks up the report blankly. He can't understand the complex medical data, but he can read the bold red conclusion at the bottom. Diagnosis: severe cellular decay, pre-collapse signs in the gene chain, estimated remaining lifespan less than 3 years. What does this mean? Cyrus's voice trembles. It means the divine blood you took such pride in is actually a death sentence. I point at Sophia behind the glass. My chief scientist just analyzed your blood. The so-called enhancement serum the Vortex Syndicate injected into you all is literally overdrawing your lives. You think you've gotten stronger, but you're just burning the last of your candle. Impossible. Mr. Leo said this is the key to evolution, the mark of a new humanity. Cyrus suddenly stands, but the handcuffs yank him back into the chair. You're lying. You're trying to break my will. I let out a cold laugh. Don't you feel it yourself? The extreme weakness after every use of your power, the deep bone pain at night, and the growing bloodlust you can barely control. Cyrus freezes. His face turns ghostly pale in an instant, because every symptom I described strikes precisely at his deepest fear. He had always thought those were the price of evolution. Could it really be a countdown to death? They've been lying to us all along, Cyrus murmurs, the light in his eyes completely extinguished. The collapse of faith is the most devastating thing of all. Not all bad news, though. I suddenly change tone. It's irreversible, but if you cooperate, Dr. Sophia might find a way to slow the process. Maybe even let you live the rest of your days like an actual human. Cyrus jerks his head up, staring at me intently. What do you want? I want everything about water purification plant number 3. I lean forward, locking eyes with him. Defense maps, firing positions, personnel deployment, and where Leo is hiding. I want all of it. Half an hour later in the command center, a detailed defense map of water purification plant number 3 is projected onto the big screen. I have to admit this is a tough bone to crack. General Marcus studies the dense array of firing points on the map, his expression grave. 3 lines of defense, over 2,000 slaves as a meat shield, and 300 fully armed private soldiers. Beyond the modified armored vehicles we've seen, they're even hiding an armed helicopter. It's a Storm-class light tiltrotor, left over from before the apocalypse. The firepower is fierce, but they're short on the specialized high-energy solid-state fuel. One flight burns through half a warehouse of their reserves, so they rarely use it. I add, according to Cyrus, beyond the 300 private soldiers, the Vortex Syndicate's core combat force includes about 50 evolved like him. The strongest is the security chief Butcher, said to be a tier 2 strength enhancer. He can flip a car with his bare hands. Flipping a car in front of a heavy machine gun has no tactical value. Ryan cuts in. The key issue right now is that they control the water supply. General Marcus points at the water purification chamber in the center of the map. If we attack head-on, that lunatic Leo might blow up the purification equipment, or even poison the water. That's the only functional deep groundwater well in Ridgemont City. It's also a critical resource for our future development of this world, so we can't storm in. Only outsmart them? I ask. General Marcus shakes his head, a steely glint in his eyes. Decapitation. He draws a red line on the map, pointing straight at the Vortex Syndicate's core administrative building. Special Forces infiltration combined with a frontal feint. Before they can react, we take out their command headquarters. General Marcus turns around and looks at me. Ethan, haven't you been wanting to test the dual-world gate spatial anchor relocation in combat? I freeze for a second, then my eyes light up. Sir, are you suggesting we open the gate directly inside their headquarters? General Marcus gives a small smile, such as right next to Leo's office. I look at the map and take a deep breath. This isn't decapitation. This is holding a blade to their throat while strolling through their front door. Let's do it. I slam the table. This has to be the most shameless special ops mission in history. Late at night in Ridgemont City, black rain still falls from the sky. At an abandoned subway entrance about 2 kilometers from water purification plant number 3, a 12-man elite squad advances under the cover of night. Right in the middle of the formation is me, heavily guarded. How much longer? I keep my voice low. Even wearing a full heavy bomb suit and holding a submachine gun, my heart is still racing. After all, this is genuinely deep behind enemy lines. Through this maintenance tunnel is the water plant's underground pump room. The guide walking in front is Cyrus, the former Night Owl captain, now codenamed Prisoner. That pump room has been abandoned for a long time. It's right below the administrative building where Leo's office is. That's the only blind spot in the entire base. Ryan's gun barrel hovers behind Cyrus's back at all times, he says coldly. You'd better pray that tunnel hasn't collapsed. Otherwise you'll be the first one buried in it. Cyrus gives a bitter smile and doesn't reply. 10 minutes later we arrive at a thick concrete wall. This is the spot, Cyrus points up. Above us is the administrative building's basement. Behind this wall used to be the backup generator room. Plenty of space. I step forward and touch the cold wall. Compatible anchor substrate detected. Initiate gate deployment at this location. Take him away and keep him under guard. I turn and give the order. 2 squad members immediately step forward, put a hood over Cyrus's head, and drag him away. After confirming that all non-essential personnel have been cleared, I turn back around. I let out a long breath and glance at Ryan and the special forces behind me. General Marcus had firmly opposed me taking the risk in person, but spatial anchor relocation requires the host's direct positioning. This is a risk I have to take. Everyone get ready. My voice is still tight, but determination shines through. The special forces immediately spread out, forming a defensive perimeter. I close my eyes and mentally connect with the system. Deploy. A deep blue radiance suddenly blazes to life in the pitch-black underground space. A massive rectangular light screen, 5 meters wide and 4 meters tall, appears out of thin air in front of everyone. Almost the moment the gate takes shape, a cold, lethal aura pours out from the other side. The scent of steel and gunpowder. Operation Thunderclap. On the other side of the gate, General Marcus's steady, powerful voice rings out. Attack! Boom, boom, boom. The synchronized footsteps thunder like war drums. The first wave to charge through is 3 Lynx all-terrain assault vehicles, the remote weapon stations on their roofs gleaming with deadly cold. Right behind them come 2 full platoons of fully armed special forces, surging into this narrow underground space like a black tide. The spacious basement is instantly packed with the iron tide teleported from Earth. I quickly step aside to watch this breathtaking scene. My attention vanishes in an instant, replaced by an indescribable thrill. This is the power of having a nation behind you. Whatever apocalypse warlords, whatever evolved, in front of a modern organized military force, they are nothing. At this very moment, on the 3rd floor of the administrative building, in the CEO's office, Leo is resting his feet on his desk, swirling half a glass of red wine. Cyrus isn't back yet? He asks the deputy beside him. Not yet, boss, but there was gunfire from that direction a little while ago. Probably the camp put up some resistance, slowed things down a bit, the deputy says ingratiatingly. Cyrus is reliable. Don't worry, boss. Before sunrise, the camp supplies and that pretty girl will both be delivered to your bed. They'd better be. Leo lets out a cold laugh. Things aren't peaceful lately. I heard the Savior Army to the west is stirring again. If Cyrus brings back something good this time, it'll be perfect for expanding our arsenal. Before he can finish, a massive roar erupts, as if a dragon turned beneath the earth. The entire administrative building shakes violently. The wine glass on the table topples over. What's going on? An earthquake? Leo leaps up in panic. Reporting boss. Terrified screams come through the walkie-talkie from the guards downstairs. The basement just exploded. What? No, not exploded. There are vehicles. Tanks are charging out of the basement. Are you fucking crazy? Leo bursts out cursing. Where the hell would tanks come from in the basement? Did moles dig them in? But the next second he can't curse anymore. The muffled, dense roar of heavy machine gun fire erupts in the lobby below, followed by explosions and screams. That's a metal storm tearing through everything in its path. Boss, they're coming up. They're so fast. That's special forces. That's real special forces. The voice in the walkie-talkie cuts off abruptly. Leo's face turns ghostly pale in an instant. With trembling hands, he pulls a Desert Eagle from his drawer and lunges for the door. The next second, the heavy wooden door is kicked off its frame by a tactical boot. As wood splinters fly, 2 flashbangs roll in. Blinding white light and deafening noise instantly strip Leo of all his senses. He collapses. When his vision starts to recover slightly, he feels several cold gun barrels pressed firmly against his forehead. A cold voice speaks beside his ear. Leo, right? If you don't want your head blown open, tell all your men to drop their weapons. Leo struggles to open his teary eyes and sees a group of fully armed soldiers, so well equipped it sends him into despair. Behind these soldiers, a figure in heavy bomb gear coldly stares at him through a face shield. This is impossible. Leo forces a desperate voice from his throat. Where the hell did you all come from? I step forward, looking down at this apocalypse warlord. I point at the floor beneath my feet and flash a brilliant smile. You probably won't believe this. We grew out of your basement. The battle ends quickly, but the post-battle cleanup is far more complex. When the first ray of dawn touches water purification plant number 3, this fortress once ruled by violence and fear finally falls quiet. In the plaza, the once arrogant Vortex Syndicate private soldiers now squat on the ground with their hands over their heads. Stay still, don't move. A Special Forces soldier slams his rifle butt down on the back of a private soldier trying to pull a knife. The man shakes with fear, his pants instantly wet. This scene is taken in by the over 2,000 survivors squatting in the corners nearby. In their numb eyes, beyond fear, there is now a hint of disbelieving shock. In their understanding, new occupiers usually mean another round of slaughter or even crueler enslavement, but the expected whipping, cursing, and executions never come. Instead, what comes is wave after wave of aroma capable of awakening the most primal human desires. It's not the burnt stench of grilled mutant meat, nor the sour smell of moldy bread, but the clean fragrance unique to rice porridge. Is that the smell of rice porridge? In a corner of the crowd, a skeletal old man twitches his nose, his cloudy eyes suddenly bursting with light. He stares fixedly at the other side of the plaza, where several soldiers in protective suits are unloading massive stainless steel insulated containers. The moment the lids come off, white steam rises into the air. For these people who have struggled 12 years in the apocalypse, this white steam is more addictive than the purest narcotic. The soldier in charge of distribution turns on a loudspeaker. Line up, there's enough for everyone. The calm and order in that voice is heavenly music these survivors haven't heard in 12 years. Elderly, women, and children first. Don't push, food is plentiful. Anyone needing medical attention, go to the medical tent on the left. A wave of commotion passes through the crowd, but seeing the armed soldiers standing guard, they shrink back and stop. Are you really giving it to us? A little girl looks shyly at the soldier approaching her, her eyes full of longing and fear. The soldier crouches down, pulls a sausage from his pocket, and hands it to her. Eat. You won't have to go hungry anymore. In that moment, the girl's mother suddenly bursts into wailing sobs as she clutches her child. The cries spread through the crowd like a contagion. Over 2,000 survivors weep their hearts out at the sight of those buckets of rice porridge. These are 12 years of suppressed grief, and 12 years of relief at finding salvation. Behind the administrative building, in the underground experimental zone, the atmosphere is starkly different. It's like the residue of hell. These animals. Sophia stands inside a room labeled Purification Room, the electronic notebook in her hand creaking as she grips it tight. The room is filled with massive glass jars containing not specimens, but failures. Humans who suffer genetic collapse and bodily mutation from being forcibly injected with excessive crystal core extract are suspended in preservation fluid, their eyes wide open in death, staring out at the world. So this is their so-called God-making project. Ryan stands behind Sophia, watching the hellish scene, his voice chillingly cold, using live humans as lab rats to test the virus's limits. Not just testing, Sophia points at a blood-stained experimental journal, her voice trembling. They're trying to mass-produce the evolved. Leo believes that with a large enough sample, they can always filter out a few sons of God who can coexist with the virus. As for the failures, they're what's in these jars. The journal is filled with row after row of cold data. Subject 074, injected with 10 milliliters of Tier 1 crystal core extract. Violent reaction. Total vascular rupture. Cause of death, multi-organ failure. Subject 109, injected with 5 milliliters of Tier 2 crystal core extract. Partial skeletal metallization observed, but subject went berserk shortly after. Eliminated. Subject 213. Behind every line of cold data lies a living human life. Secure all these materials. Sophia takes a deep breath, forcing down her disgust and anger. It's cruel, but this data has significant value for our vaccine research and for finding safe ways to use crystal cores. We can't let them die for nothing. Understood. And what about these scumbags? Ryan points at the trembling Vortex Syndicate researchers in the corner. Sophia gives them a cold glance. Hand them over to the survivors for trial. I'm sure the families who lost loved ones would love to share some experimental insights with them. On the top floor of the administrative building, in the CEO's office. This place has become my temporary forward command post. I stand by the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the orderly lines of people below, and the engineering vehicles starting to clear the ruins in the distance. This is the first step in rebuilding civilization. General Marcus appears on the command terminal screen on my desk. Ethan, you did excellent work. You didn't just take the territory, more importantly, you won their hearts. Sometimes a bowl of hot porridge really does work better than guns and cannons. I agree, I say. But to hold on to that public trust, we need more than just food. Has the resource inventory been completed? General Marcus asks. Still counting. The spoils are beyond expectation. I turn to the busy logistics officer. Reporting, sir, the preliminary list is ready. She hands over a tactical tablet. First, gold. Leo had stockpiled about 21 tons of gold in his underground vault. I nod. This batch of gold translates to nearly 1 billion in funds back in the real world, enough to fill many of Project Starfire's early funding gaps. Next is technology equipment. The logistics officer points at the 3 silver briefcases beside her. This is the biggest surprise. In Leo's private collection room, we found these military-grade tactical tablets and a portable server. I casually pick up a tablet and swipe a few times. The system runs smoothly. This solves a huge problem for us. My eyes light up. With Ridgemont City's municipal network protocols and encrypted maps stored on this, we might be able to wake up some of the city's dormant systems. Finally, and most importantly, the logistics officer lowers her voice and opens the middle black and gold briefcase. In an instant, a mesmerizing red glow lights up the office. Crystal cores, all the high-grade stock the Vortex Syndicate has scraped together over the years, is right here. Inside the case are over 30 blood-red Tier 2 crystal cores arranged neatly, along with over 400 Tier 1 ones. High-purity energy source detected, Tier 2 bio-crystal cores detected, quantity, 32. Tier 1 bio-crystal cores detected, quantity, 415. Estimated convertible energy, 4,800 points from Tier 2, plus 4,980 points from Tier 1. Current energy reserves, 9,780. I look at the system data flashing across my retina, my breath catching for a moment. Nearly 10,000 points. Taking down one regional warlord just covered 90% of the energy needed to upgrade to level 3. With such a massive energy reserve, I'm officially loaded. I can open the matter transport channel without hesitation, bringing heavy equipment through non-stop. I can freely use spatial anchor relocation, bringing the fires of war to any enemy's doorstep. Beyond all this, we also found something in Leo's computer. The logistics officer pulls up a blurry satellite map. This is a faction distribution map of Ridgemont City and its surroundings, with 2 extremely critical coordinates marked. She points to a red dot on the edge of the map. The first is Lighthouse Camp on the west side of the city. According to the notes, a large number of pre-apocalypse scientists are gathered there, with relatively complete industrial production capability. My eyes flicker. That is Sophia's home. And the second? The logistics officer moves her finger toward the center of the city, to a region covered in crimson. The second is Ridgemont Central Hospital. The Vortex Syndicate marked it with a giant skull symbol on the map and labeled it Forbidden Zone. But beneath that label, there's a small line of text. She enlarges the image and reads it aloud. Suspected location of Tier 4 mutant hive, crystal core reserves immeasurable. The office falls into brief silence. I look at the crimson skull marking, as if I can feel the terror radiating through the screen. A Tier 4 hive. If a Tier 2 crystal core provides 150 energy points, then a Tier 4. Looks like our next target is now clear. General Marcus breaks the silence on the other end of the screen. But before that, we need to digest the gains from this operation. Steady steps, advance with care. I nod, turning my gaze back out the window. This place is no longer the Vortex Syndicate's den of demons. This is Forward Base 1, the first flame of human civilization reignited in this world of despair. I take a deep breath. I know this game has only just begun, but I am no longer that ordinary trembling young man. Behind me stands a powerful nation. All units, attention. On the screen, General Marcus's steady voice rings out, officially issuing the first military order after the occupation. Level 1 combat readiness lifted. All units transition to construction mode. Establish a preliminary defensive perimeter within 24 hours. One more thing. General Marcus looks at me on the screen, his tone softening a little. Notify the mess squad, extra rations tonight, unlimited braised pork. At Forward Base 1, civilization doesn't mean free lunch. Both General Marcus and I understand this clearly. In the apocalypse, pure charity only breeds idlers. Only by building a fair exchange system can we truly reignite the vitality of this dead society. All personnel, attention. The base loudspeaker rings out with a clear, powerful broadcast. All healthy adults between 16 and 55 years of age, report to the plaza in front of the administrative building for identity registration and labor assignment. Repeating, report for identity registration and labor assignment. There isn't much commotion in the crowd. Their only worry is whether the new masters will exploit them worse than the Vortex Syndicate did. Sam blends into the crowd, anxious. He used to be a veteran engineer at the water plant. A man in his 50s, during the Vortex Syndicate's rule, he barely kept his life thanks to his technical skills, but he was only surviving, nothing more. Sam, what do you think they'll have us do? They wouldn't use us as bait for zombies, would they? A young man beside him whispers. Don't talk nonsense. Sam glares at him. Have you ever seen bandits hand out fresh clothes to slaves? The line slowly moves forward. Name. The registrar is a young soldier wearing a black tactical exoskeleton, his tone calm and professional. Sam, I'm Sam. Sam stutters slightly. No need for formalities, stand straight. The soldier looks up at him. What did you do before? I was originally an engineer at this plant. Later, I repaired water pumps and generators for the Vortex Syndicate. Engineer? The soldier's eyes light up. He operates the device for a few seconds. Look at the camera. A gentle blue light scans Sam's iris. Identity profile created. Sam, age 52, senior technician. ID number 01T042. The soldier hands over a black rubber wristband. Put this on. This is your ID at the base. It's also your wallet and health monitor. Well, wallet? Sam freezes. In the apocalypse, money has long become worthless paper. Exactly. The soldier points at the giant LED display in the center of the plaza. At Base 1, we don't use old world currency, and we don't run a slave system either. We operate on a contribution point system. Sam follows his finger. The screen scrolls through various listings. Forward Base 1 mission board. Basic labor, battlefield cleanup, corpse hauling, 1 point per task with epidemic prevention subsidy. Technical specialist, urgently needed, machinery repair and electrician work, 20 points per day. Requires assessment and grading. Senior technicians earn extra subsidies. Resource gathering, high risk, high reward. Tier 1 Crystal Core, 100 points each. Tier 2 Crystal Core, 1,500 points each. On the other side of the screen, there is a dizzying list of supply exchanges. Food category, rice porridge and steamed buns, unlimited supply, 50 points per serving. Canned ham, 340 grams, 10 points per can. Special braised pork can, 50 points per can. Daily necessities, soap and shampoo, 3 points per item. Antibiotic, amoxicillin, 50 points per pack. Cigarettes, hard currency, 30 points per pack. Sam stares wide-eyed, his Adam's apple bobbing violently. He quickly calculates in his head. If he does the hardest work, hauling corpses 10 bodies a day equals 10 points, enough to eat his fill. But if he can pass the mechanical repair assessment, my god, 20 points a day, that means 2 days for a can of braised pork. More importantly, the rules here are transparent and public. As long as you work, you live like a human being. This isn't a base, this is paradise. Is this real? Sam trembles as he asks. Real braised pork? You're not tricking us into working? Of course. The soldier smiles, pulls out a can of braised pork from under the table and gives it a shake. As long as you have points, eat as much as you want. Our commander says here, labor is the highest honor, and the more you work, the more you earn. Sign me up. I can repair pumps. I was the chief engineer at this plant. Sam straightens his back, his eyes burning with unprecedented light. Not just pumps. I can fix generators and transformers too. Give me tools and I can start working right now. Excellent. The soldier nods with satisfaction and enters a string of code into the wristband. Head to Sector B for the assessment. Once you pass, your pay starts today. On the top floor of the administrative building, in the temporary command center, I stand by the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the lively scene below. The numb, deathly look on every face is fading, replaced by a vitality called purpose. Looks like humans adapt far better than we expected, I marvel. Not just adapt. General Marcus's hologram appears on the screen. They crave order. This point system is essentially rebuilding a credit system. As long as they believe effort brings reward, the productivity they unleash is astonishing. We owe the nation's supply support for this. I smile. Without those mountains of canned food and grain backing our credit, I couldn't pull the system off. This is just the beginning. General Marcus's expression turns grave. The domestic expert teams have done a preliminary analysis on the crystal core samples you sent back. The energy density in these things is incredibly high. If we can crack their energy conversion mechanism, it will revolutionize the energy landscape of the real world. So Ethan, forward base 1 must hold. This is our future energy mine. Relax, General Marcus. I nod. By the way, how's Dr. Sophia doing? She's busier than you are. Ryan cuts in from the side. She just picked over 30 people from the survivors with medical and biology backgrounds. And, Ryan pauses, a hint of admiration on his face. Our first batch of senior academician experts has already come through the dual world gate. The old professors from the Academy of Sciences, the moment they saw the virus samples and mutant tissue slides Dr. Sophia presented, every single one of them got fired up like they'd been injected with adrenaline. Now they're all packed into the BSL-3 lab on sublevel 2, every one of them taking orders from Dr. Sophia. The scene, wow. A group of white-haired academicians gathered around a young woman, calling her professor, and asking her biology questions. That is interesting. There's always something to learn from others. I smile knowingly. Dr. Sophia has been surviving in the apocalypse for 12 years. Her experience in this area is definitely richer than ours. Let the experts learn from her, and merge the tech trees from both worlds as fast as possible. Just don't accidentally start another Resident Evil. I crack a joke. Ryan takes my words seriously and picks up the line. Understood. Advisor Ethan, don't worry. We've been watching the safety lines closely. All external labor teams must be led by elite squads. Also, we're paying special attention to those who volunteer to gather crystal cores. These people are good candidates for expanding the local auxiliary forces later. Ryan salutes and is about to turn and leave when suddenly the red alert light in the command center flashes on. A radar operator jumps up. Reporting. Surveillance radar has detected an abnormal signal. Ryan and I turn at the same time and stride quickly to the electronic map. Direction due west. Distance 5 kilometers from base, approaching our position at high speed along the old highway. The operator brings up the drone's real-time reconnaissance feed. On the screen, a small convoy of 3 modified off-road vehicles and 1 heavy truck is racing down the abandoned road. Crude steel plates and spikes are welded all over their frames. The west? My brow rises, my gaze locking onto a red-marked area on the map. That's the direction of Lighthouse Camp. Yes, Ryan zooms in to confirm identity. It is a convoy from Lighthouse Camp. Judging by the way they're driving, they're not on a march. They're running for their lives. On screen, the convoy is swerving erratically, as if something is chasing them. Whatever they're coming for. I tighten my grip on my teacup. Since they are coming, we should welcome them properly. Just that we don't know if they're friends or foes. Neighbors are at the door. We need to set the tone. Ryan's expression turns solemn as he steps forward. Advisor Ethan, leave the defense deployment to me. Since this is our first official contact, we must show our hardest fist. I'll position those 2 Type 99A tanks right at the front gate. The IFVs deploy on both flanks. Since they're coming, we must make them understand who calls the shots here. The first step of diplomatic contact is to show your fangs. We need to teach these neighbors how to speak properly. Good. With you guys here, I'm at ease. On sublevel 2 of Forward Base 1, just 48 hours ago, this place was a blood-soaked forbidden zone under the Vortex Syndicate's rule. but after my engineering company's round-the-clock decontamination and renovation, it has become the most precise location in the entire apocalypse. The BSL-3 Biosafety Lab. The heavy airtight door slides open, and I step into the core area in a sterile suit. The grim stench is gone, replaced by top-tier research equipment urgently shipped in from the real world. Over a dozen precision instruments hum softly, and the first batch of academician experts urgently dispatched from the Academy of Sciences are gathered around Sophia. Dr. Sophia, look at this sample's RNA transcription process. Could it share some similarity with the flu virus? Dr. Sophia, about the metallization reaction in Ravager muscle fibers, I have a new hypothesis. Sophia's exhaustion is hard to hide, but she is in a state of unprecedented fervent focus. Professor Hayes, that RNA fragment is a trap. The Z virus has powerful camouflage. Run reverse transcription one more time. She doesn't even look up as she operates the electron microscope. As for the metallization reaction, that's a characteristic only Tier 3 and above mutants have. The current Tier 1 sample data is insufficient. Don't draw conclusions blindly. The moment she stands up, she sees me. A smile spreads across her tired face. What brings you here? I smile and walk over, gesturing for the hesitant old professors to continue. Just came to see our chief scientist. How is it? Satisfied with the new setup? More than satisfied. Sophia strokes the mass spectrometer beside her, her eyes glowing. This is paradise. Lighthouse Camp did keep some pre-apocalypse equipment, but due to lack of power and maintenance, most of it has died. The rest constantly breaks down. But here, everything is brand new. Some models are even better than the most advanced pre-apocalypse models I remember. A good craftsman needs good tools. Brian told me you made big news the moment you arrived. Come with me. Her expression turns serious as she leads me to the analysis area and hands me a thick report. I spent the past 2 days carefully analyzing the so-called God-making project data Leo left behind. I have to say the Vortex Syndicate may be morally bankrupt, but the massive amount of data they accumulated through human experiments is indeed a treasure trove. To create so-called enhanced soldiers, they injected thousands of survivors with different concentrations of crystal core extract. The vast majority died horribly from rejection reactions. But while analyzing the death records, I discovered a strange phenomenon. What phenomenon? I opened the report. The words perception failure, circled prominently in red, immediately catch my eye. Look at this test subject A302. In the surveillance footage, a man covered in lesions collapsed inside a zombie containment cage, yet the frenzied zombies around him acted blind and simply ignored him. Seeing this, a massive shock seizes my heart. My pupils contract. Invisibility? Not visual invisibility, it's olfactory and sensory blackout. Zombies hunt primarily by smell, locking onto the specific pheromones living organisms emit, followed by hearing. In the 30 minutes before that test subject died, a certain metabolic byproduct in his body neutralized this scent of the living. Leo and those fools were only chasing strength enhancement, so they considered this subject a failure and disposed of him. They had no idea they threw away the real miracle. Sophia shakes a spray bottle filled with pale green liquid. I extracted that special enzyme, used the gene editing technology you provided to remove the toxic fragments that cause cellular collapse, and used Tier 1 crystal core powder as a stabilizer to synthesize this. I call it Mist 1, a zombie pheromone camouflage spray. Just spray it on, and for 30 minutes you'll be completely invisible to ordinary zombies' senses. I take the cold spray bottle. In this apocalypse, pheromones that can bypass zombie tides are basically a walking cheat code, and more importantly, an ultimate lifesaver built on countless lives. Effects tested? I suppress my excitement. Already conducted live tests in the isolation zone. In the video, a Special Forces soldier sprays the agent and walks among zombies, and the bloodthirsty zombies don't react at all. Effective radius about 3 meters. Duration 30 minutes. However, there are limitations. Against Tier 2 and above mutants, the effect drops significantly because they've evolved sharper visual and auditory perception. Second, no active attacking. The moment you make a violent motion or fire a weapon, the camouflage breaks. That's enough. I grip the vial tightly. Enough for our search teams to penetrate the city center. Enough to take us into death zones we wouldn't have dared to dream of before. Sophia, you've made a major contribution. I stare at her gravely. If this can be mass-produced, it's worth no less than an armored division. Mass production still needs time. Current crystal core reserves aren't enough. And to improve its effect on high-tier mutants, I need more data. Especially live data on Tier 2 mutants. Data will come, crystal cores will come too. My tactical terminal suddenly buzzes, and the intel on it makes my expression cold. What's wrong? The communications team just used the municipal network protocols left by the Vortex Syndicate to restore shortwave communications monitoring around the city. I walk to the electronic map on the wall. 10 minutes ago we intercepted a distress signal. The signal is weak, intermittent, broadcast on open frequency. The code identifies it as from Lighthouse Camp. Sophia rushes to the map, eyes locked on the screen, her voice trembling. Lighthouse, what's happened to them? What does the distress say? Just 4 words, beast tide, flee now. The reconnaissance drone has already flown over. The footage shows a sizable mutant beast horde besieging the outer walls of Lighthouse Camp. Without intervention, given Lighthouse's defensive firepower, they won't last the night. Sophia grips the lab bench tightly. Not everyone at Lighthouse is a good person. Back then, the leadership who drove my father and me out for limited resources were selfish, cold-blooded. They even cut the power to my father's life support pod just to save electricity. I know, I understand all too well the cruelty of human nature in the apocalypse, but I won't pass up any opportunity to acquire resources. And I also know, There are still hundreds of innocent researchers like your father there, along with tons of experimental data and blueprints. Those leaders are scum, but that knowledge is priceless. Dr. Sophia, I'm not going there to babysit, nor to play the saint. Right now, Forward Base 1 has guns, food, and medicine. What we lack is people, technology, and research power. What Lighthouse has is exactly what we lack. And what we have, I pat the supply crate, is beyond their wildest dreams. I'm going there to acquire. I'm going to package up Lighthouse Camp, people and equipment, and bring it all back. As for the ones who once mistreated you, you'll see with your own eyes how worthless their so-called pride and power are in the face of absolute strength. Get ready, Dr. Sophia. I turn and walk toward the door, the corner of my mouth curling coldly. Bring your missed one. This time, we're going to bring your old colleagues home in style. We're going to let everyone know, in this apocalypse, who the real Lighthouse is. Professor Hayes, prepare to set up a Level 2 biosafety isolation zone. We're about to receive a large batch of new live samples and new colleagues. Inside the cargo passage of the western main gate, my forces have already built a deadly crossfire perimeter. Accompanied by a low rumble, 3 violent modified off-roaders and a battered heavy truck are charging toward the base like mad. Stop. The area ahead is a military-restricted zone. Any closer will be treated as hostile. We will open fire. The convoy doesn't slow down. A burly man climbs out of the lead vehicle, desperately waving a flare gun. Our sniper rifles roar in response. 12.7mm rounds tear massive craters in front of their vehicles, forcing the entire convoy to slam to a halt. Hold fire! Hold fire! We're human! The burly man scrambles out of the vehicle. We're a scout team from Lighthouse Camp in the west. We mean no harm. There's something chasing us. Following his gaze, the distant horizon erupts with billowing dust. Several dark red mutant hounds are closing in at terrifying speed. Stalkers! The man's face turns ghost white in an instant. Being killed by a Tier 2 mutant beast takes only a moment. Just as he closes his eyes to await death, the tarp behind the defensive line is suddenly thrown back. The Type 99, a main battle tank's cannon, lowers, cold and menacing. Alongside the heavy machine gun fire from both flanks, dense rain of bullets blankets the air, grinding those stalkers into a mist of blood. The absolute firepower overwhelms the surviving convoy. This is a regular military force, pre-apocalypse regulars. 10 minutes later, the Lighthouse scout team has been disarmed. They stare greedily at my base's abundant electricity and clean water. Drink up. Ryan tosses them a bottle of water. The burly man downs it in one gulp. Ryan towers over him like an iron giant, his gaze pressing in. Speak. What unit are you from? What are you doing here? And why is there a tail on your ass? My name is Mason, Deputy Chief of Lighthouse Camp's security team. We were originally sent out on reconnaissance. We heard the Vortex Syndicate was wiped out, and our chief sent us to see which big shots took over this place. We didn't expect a real big shot. Cut the crap. Ryan snaps. Get to the point. What's the deal with those stalkers just now? Fear crawls across Mason's face again. Beast tide. The western mountains erupted. We don't know why, but mutant beasts that usually hide deep in the mountains all suddenly came surging out. Not just stalkers, but brutes too. And someone even saw a dragon in the sky. A dragon! I suddenly cut in, stepping forward. Ryan instinctively retreats half a step. This formation makes Mason's heart skip. A roteworm. Sophia approaches holding a tactical tablet. Ethan, he's telling the truth. We just reconfirmed the signal source. Lighthouse Camp has indeed been surrounded. Those stalkers chasing them were probably just outer scouts. Dr. Sophia, you're alive? Mason gasps. What, very surprised? Mason, when you helped drive my father out of the lab, you were the one leading the charge at the door. Mason avoids her gaze, not daring to meet the eyes of this woman who now controls the situation. I stare at him coldly, weighing this deal that could double our strength. Save the reunion for later. So you escaped? More like broke through. Before the camp was surrounded, the chief sent several convoys in different directions to seek help. We were lucky enough to break through, but those beasts spotted us and chased us all the way here. Commander Ethan. Mason drops to the ground with a thud, kneeling without rising. Please, save Lighthouse. There are still over 3,000 people there. The chief and his crew may be bastards, but the survivors underneath are innocent. And the camp still has tons of equipment, tons of data. If the beast tide breaks through, it's all gone. 3,000. I tilt my head toward Ryan and Sophia. 3,000 workers, plus the equipment and colleagues Dr. Sophia keeps mentioning. This deal can be made. Agreed. This is indeed a profitable deal. General Marcus arrives surrounded by a group of staff officers. I nod slightly. General Marcus. Ryan and the others snap to salute. The staff department has assessed it. The personnel and equipment at Lighthouse Camp are exactly what we urgently need. Ryan, I approve your combat request. Take the armored company and 2 mechanized infantry companies to bring the people back. Remember, we want population and equipment, not ruins. Minimize collateral damage. Yes, sir. Mission will be completed. Battlefire burns in Ryan's eyes as he barks into the comms. All units level 1 combat readiness. The garage doors thunder open. 10 Type 99 of main battle tanks crush the ground as they roll out, kicking up a tremor that shakes the earth. Mason is on his knees, weeping uncontrollably, witnessing the descent of the most ruthless Terminators in this apocalypse. At Forward Base 1, the thick smell of military diesel fills the air. For a wastelander like Mason, this is the most expensive scent in the world. I watch him shrink into a corner like a country bumpkin. Over a dozen fuel tankers are roughly pumping golden yellow high-grade fuel into the fuel tanks of those steel beasts. The overflow dripping makes his heart ache. In an apocalypse where even cheap biodiesel is counted by the drop, my soldiers casually discarding half a barrel of gasoline violently shatters his worldview. Such a waste, so extravagant, he mutters in a daze. Is this what national power looks like? Mason, stop standing around. Get in. The window of the assault vehicle rolls down. Ryan, wearing tactical sunglasses, coldly looks down at him. You're the guide. Get in the lead vehicle. Yes, sir. Mason snaps to attention and climbs into the armored vehicle. All units attention. Ryan's deep voice cuts into the all-channel comms. Target, due west, Lighthouse Camp, 25 kilometers. Operation codename, Daybreak. Move out. The earth trembles violently. 10 Type 99, a main battle tanks form the spearhead, with 20 Type 04 infantry fighting vehicles on both flanks. I sit inside the command vehicle, watching this dragon of steel belch black smoke as it rolls through the base gates. 12 years of apocalyptic ruins choke the streets, but our armored tide doesn't need a detour. Obstacle ahead. Approximately 50 abandoned cars blocking the intersection. The lead vehicle observer reports crisply. Ram through. Ryan orders, copy that. The 1,500 horsepower engines roar. Tanks weighing dozens of tons charge forward like bulldozers. Abandoned cars are crushed under the treads into twisted scrap, forcibly carving a bloody path. The violent noise instantly disturbs the city's dead silence. Thousands of zombies pour out from the side alleys like a black tide, charging straight at the convoy. Commander! Zombie tide! It's a zombie tide! Mason's ghostly pale shout bursts through the comms. Stop the vehicles! We need to take defensive positions in the buildings! What's there to panic about? Sophia, in the same vehicle, looks at her tactical tablet, her tone cold as ice. Watch closely. No need for the main guns. The IFVS 30mm autocannons and heavy machine guns instantly unleash a net of death. The charging zombie tide shatters and falls like wheat before a scythe. Large caliber rounds blast approaching rotters apart. The treads grind ruthlessly over the blood-soaked ground. The sound of crushing bones is hair-raising. The zombie horde becomes nothing more than ants beneath a steamroller. This is it? Mason slumps back into his seat. 12 years of carefully calculated survival philosophy comes crashing down. This is the gap, Mason. Sophia looks out at the long, bloody journey. We used to be surviving. They're conquering. 2 hours later, I sit inside the command vehicle as the convoy speeds west. The smell of gunpowder thickens in the air. On the distant horizon, the lingering glow of tracer rounds tearing through the sky can still be seen. There. Mason points at the fortress ruins built into the mountainside ahead, his voice trembling with fear. That's Lighthouse. The situation is far more brutal than imagined. The sturdy high-voltage perimeter wall has been blasted with breaches. Dense swarms of mutant beasts are pouring into the camp. The massive body of a brute hammers relentlessly at the main gate. The defender's line is on the verge of collapse. Looks like we arrived just in time. I lower the binoculars coldly and press the all-channel tactical comms. All units attention. March mode off. Switch to combat formation. Target beast tide ahead. Mission leave none alive. Open fire. 10 Type 99 tanks 125mm smoothbore cannons roar in unison, their barrels uniformly pointing at the beast tide in the darkness. This is a greeting from humanity's peak industrial civilization. Boom. Inside Lighthouse Camp, hell has already broken loose. Through the drone footage and intercepted communications frequencies, we can clearly hear the desperate screams inside. We can't hold it. The east wall has collapsed. Stalkers are inside. Where are the heavy machine guns? Why aren't they firing? Out of ammo. The last box of bullets ran out 5 minutes ago. On the command post rooftop, Camp Chief Warden stares fixedly at the beast horde slaughtering survivors like a tide. His knuckles are white from gripping his empty gun too tightly. It's over, he murmurs. In his field of vision, thousands of mutants flood the defensive line. With a thunderous crash, the last steel gate is smashed open by a brute. Run! The monsters are inside. Cries of desperate collapse erupt from all directions. Stalkers tear out the throats of guards at will. Warden gives a bitter laugh. If, at that moment, he hadn't driven her away for the sake of that equipment, perhaps, a massive mutant beast charges at him, trampling over corpses. He squeezes his eyes shut, raises the empty pistol, and awaits the end of death. Boom! A 125mm high-explosive shell suddenly explodes at the foot of the mountain. The giant beast and Warden's despair both vanish into a burning mass of rotted flesh and pulverized blood mist. The earth-shaking explosion drowns out every sound of biting. What is this? He opens his eyes in shock. 10 Desert Camo Type 99 main battle tanks and 20 IFVs grind through the ruins, rolling onto the battlefield like mobile steel fortresses. Tracer rounds from the 30mm autocannons precisely plow furrows of flesh and blood through the beast tide. Stalkers attempting to counterattack are blown apart in midair by machine gun bursts. This isn't tactics, this is pure dimensional warfare. Thermal lock, fire control radar sweep. The frenzied tide, once capable of destroying an entire camp under modern firepower coverage, is utterly erased in just 10 minutes. All that remains is a layer of charred remains and pungent gun smoke. Warden's legs give out. His sidearm clatters to the ground. He stares blankly at the red flags fluttering on the tank turrets, then suddenly breaks down in tears. Regulars! It's regulars! The nation hasn't forgotten us. The nation has come to save us. Under the cover of guns, I step out of the assault vehicle in a black light protective suit, walking over the blood-soaked debris on the ground. The nausea of first stepping into hell is completely suppressed by the cold iron tide behind me. I take the loudspeaker, my cold voice echoing through the silent dead zone. This is Project Starfire Rescue Team. I am Ethan. On behalf of Project Starfire Rescue Team, we are now taking over this place. I raise my head, my gaze cutting through the smoke, locking precisely onto the trembling figure of Warden on the rooftop. Chief Warden, won't you come down and welcome your savior? Special forces quickly seal off every access point. In this apocalypse, where life is worth less than grass, their cold weapons and hazmat suits become godlike salvation in the eyes of the refugees. Surrounded by armed guards, I step into the camp's main building. This once luxurious hillside villa now reeks of cheap sweat and the sour stench of long-accumulated grime. The floor is covered in withered-looking wounded, and when they see clearly the woman beside me in her pristine white research uniform, the hall falls so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Dr. Sophia? On a stretcher in the corner, the broken-legged assistant, who had abandoned Sophia in the power struggle, whimpers in trembling fear, shrinking shamefully into a dark blanket. Warden, his broken arm in a sling, wears an expression both wretched and awkward. 3 days ago, he had driven Sophia out like a stray dog. Today she returns from above, accompanied by armed forces capable of leveling his entire camp. Sophia. Warden's voice is dry and pale. You've come back. Sophia doesn't spare him a glance. That complete dismissal cuts deeper than any mockery. The air quality here is terrible. Is the ventilation system broken? She frowns and immediately gives orders to the elite medical team behind her. Set up isolation zones first. Critically wounded are top priority. Also, the sanitation here is terrible. Conduct comprehensive decontamination immediately. I don't want to see cross-infection. Yes, Dr. Sophia. Sophia then walks toward the weeping assistant, her tone carrying only cold rationality. Kyle, if your leg injury isn't treated immediately, it will go necrotic. Take him to the medical area. Prepare for debridement surgery. Warden freezes in place. This woman has only ever cared about truth and life. His scheming for dominance is, in her eyes, nothing more than an insignificant maggot in a mud pit. Dr. Sophia. He tries unwillingly to reclaim some dignity. Chief Warden, I cut in sharply, stepping forward with the unbridgeable gap of a superior. Save the reunion for later. I point at the skeletal refugees around us. Right now, the top priority is food. I simply wave my hand. Several burly soldiers slam down heavy insulated containers. Clang. That single thud shakes the lid open. The piping hot aroma of rice porridge, the rich, oily scent of braised pork, instantly explode like a heavy bomb, ferociously drowning out every trace of the bloody stench in the room. Gulp. The sound of swallowing saliva rises in waves, sending chills down the spine. No one can resist instinct in the face of white porridge and real meat. To celebrate that lighthouse camp has been spared, and to celebrate Dr. Sophia's return home, I deliver the command like a gift to everyone. Tonight, unlimited century egg and pork porridge and braised pork cans. Eat all you want, no limits. Mad cheering instantly lifts the roof. Thank you, Commander. Thank you, Dr. Sophia. I quietly watch Warden. His pitiful authority crumbles along with the hot porridge. Chief Warden, no need to look so dejected. I walk up to him, flicking out a fresh premium cigarette with my fingertips. I light it for him. We're not bandits. We're here to cooperate. I have food, you have technology. You won't lose in this deal. He bites down hard on the filter, takes a deep drag. Smoke violently pierces through his lungs. The intense nicotine sends his nervous system into total collapse. He looks at the refugees fighting for food and the spotless Sophia, then surrenders bitterly. Let's cooperate. His voice is exhausted and hollow. Commander Ethan, whatever you've set your eyes on, take it. As long as we can live like human beings. I want more than just survival. I lean in coldly, every word cutting to the bone. I want to rebuild civilization, and Lighthouse Camp's technology is one of the cornerstones of rebuilding civilization. Follow me, and you'll no longer be rats hiding in holes. You'll be heroes who rebuild this world. Those words strike his extinguished ambition like a thunderbolt. Warden's body straightens. Show me, Chief Warden. I point toward the underground entrance leading to the BSL-4 lab. Let me see what good things you've hidden away. Something Sophia can't forget. Something the Vortex Syndicate coveted so badly. He grits his teeth and crushes the cigarette butt under his foot. This way. Warden seems to have regained some of his backbone. While our fighting may be poor, when it comes to scientific research, Lighthouse Camp does have some real assets. Some of these things, even before the apocalypse, were absolute top secrets. After passing through 3 thick blast doors, the apocalyptic stench disappears, replaced by a faint scent of ozone. This is the former Ridgemont Biotech Institute's BSL-4 lab, also Lighthouse Camp's last stronghold. Warden enters the biometric verification code. The alloy doors slide open. Under the dim emergency lights, rows of precision instruments and culture tanks come into view. This is our core asset. Warden points at the black full-coverage armored Titan exoskeleton prototype at the center of the lab, along with its matching third-generation neural interface system. I size up the steel monster through my mask. It's covered in rugged hydraulic lines, radiating cold industrial beauty. This is the 4th-generation individual combat system the Army originally planned to deploy, Warden explains. It allows an ordinary soldier to lift a small car with bare hands, run at 60 kilometers per hour, and withstand direct hits from 12.7mm machine gun fire. Impressive. I give my honest assessment. Too bad it's just a pile of scrap metal. Sophia skillfully pulls up the console data, pouring cold water on the moment. because without a matching high-energy battery, right now it can only walk a few steps in the lab while plugged into a cable. The moment you unplug it, it becomes a several hundred-kilogram iron coffin. Warden stiffens, then walks to a safe. That's right, energy is indeed the biggest problem. He takes out a black cube. So this is the real treasure. High-density solid-state hydrogen battery. Warden's eyes burn with fervor. This is the highest-level secret of Ridgemont Energy Research Institute. Its energy density is 50 times that of a traditional lithium battery. In theory, just this one battery can power Titan at full combat capacity for 6 hours. 50 times. My pupils contract. This means the real world's industrial logic will be utterly overturned. But, Sophia delivers another blow. You can't manufacture it. Yes, we can't, Warden admits bitterly. It requires extremely demanding conditions, a dust-free vacuum production line, massive and extremely stable power supply, and a complete rare metal refining industry chain. In today's wasteland world, you can barely find a single qualified screw, let alone anything more. Warden looks at me, his gaze carrying a desperate gamble. I smile. The harsh conditions he can't meet in the ruins are, for the nation behind me, precisely our area of expertise. Mr. Ethan, you possess supplies beyond our imagination, even some sort of miraculous shipping channel. He has clearly guessed something. I'm willing to surrender everything here, blueprints, samples, data, even all my research personnel. Warden draws a deep breath. In exchange, I hope to retain management rights over the Lighthouse Camp survivors. Of course, nominally will be your subordinate organization. You want to be a feudal lord? I cut him off with a half smile. No, I just want to secure a path of survival for my brothers in this chaos, and keep a bit of dignity for myself. After all, this technology was priceless even before the apocalypse. I circle around the Titan, the sound of alloy tapping echoing in the lab. Chief Warden, you seem to have misunderstood something. I stop, looking him in the eye. In business negotiations, the value of assets depends not only on the asset itself, but also on who the buyer is, and whether the seller has the right to refuse. I point at the battery. In your hands, this thing can only light up a few bulbs or serve as an expensive brick. Not only can it not help you fend off the beast tide, it draws nightmares like the Vortex Syndicate. But in my hands, I raise my voice slightly, I have a complete industrial system. I have tens of thousands of engineers. I have endless raw materials. The industrial barriers that trouble you are just the electricity bill for starting up the machines for me. I can turn it into mass-produced goods, into shields that protect humanity, into light that pierces the darkness. You call it a treasure, but in your hands, it's just a death warrant. As for the management rights you mentioned, Chief Warden, do you think the survivors who just ate braised pork would rather keep following you and eating bran, or follow me and eat meat every meal? The blood drains from Warden's face. The hearts have already been bought with a few buckets of porridge. So this isn't a negotiation at all. I take the battery from his hand. This is an acquisition, a bankruptcy liquidation acquisition. I give you two choices. First, take your dignity and leave here. Go outside and reason with the zombies. Second, merge unconditionally into Forward Base 1. You can take a position in our logistics department or personnel department. You'll lose the title of chief, but you'll have clean water to drink, hot food to eat, a safe bed to sleep on. And if you perform well, I can even give you a real, well-equipped squad of your own to fulfill your dream of protecting survivors. Aside from the hum of the servers, the hall falls dead silent. I choose the second. He hangs his head, as if drained of all strength. A wise choice. I casually toss the battery to Sophia. Dr. Sophia, these things are yours now. Get the data sorted as soon as possible. We're taking it all home. Through cross-dimensional communication, the Real World's Academy of Sciences Professor Hayes is almost ecstatic on the other end of the screen. Genius! An absolutely genius design. How so, Professor? I ask, fiddling with the sample. Ethan, do you know what this means? Professor Hayes points at the structural diagram, his voice trembling. Before this battery existed, humanity's energy storage technology was practically still in the Stone Age. Whether lithium batteries or graphene batteries, they fundamentally couldn't break through the limits of chemical energy. But this battery uses a special crystal structure to solidify hydrogen atoms in metallic form within the lattice. This isn't just a battery. This is essentially a miniature, safe hydrogen energy reservoir. Its energy density reaches an astonishing 5,000 watt-hours per kilogram. What does that mean exactly? The best current military lithium battery is only around 300. This is more than 10 times stronger than what we have. Didn't Warden say 50 times earlier? He probably compared it to their pre-apocalypse energy system, or that's the theoretical limit. Professor Hayes waves his hand. But even at over 10 times current levels, it's enough to change the world. Think about it. An electric car with a 500-kilometer range with this battery could reach 8,000 kilometers of range. More durable than even gasoline cars. More importantly, it solves our biggest pain point right now. The miniaturization of high-energy weapons. You mean exoskeletons? Not just exoskeletons. Professor Hayes is wildly excited. Also electromagnetic railguns, high-energy laser weapons. The reason these couldn't be deployed before was because you needed to carry a massive generator. But now, a brick-sized battery is enough to power an intense urban firefight. Ethan, what you brought back isn't just a battery. You brought back a key that unlocks the door to future warfare. My heart surges. This is exactly the meaning of the dual world gate. What about mass production? No problem. Professor Hayes answers crisply. Vacuum and dust-free, we have it. Stable power, we have the national power grid. Rare earth elements, the National Reserve Bureau warehouses are piled high with them. Once we figure out the principles and catalyst formula, give me 3 months, no 1 month, and I can deliver the first batch of domestically produced samples. Excellent. I nod firmly. Then I'll leave it to you. After disconnecting, Sophia is still busy at work. I look at her. Looks like your dowry is quite rich. Don't celebrate too early. The battery is just the power source. The real treasure is this. She points at the Titan being disassembled. Do you think an exoskeleton is just a few steel plates and motors? Massive code begins streaming across the screen. This is the crystallization of a complete industrial system. Sophia's eyes shine. To drive this beast, Ridgemont scientists developed a matching carbon-based chip architecture, with computing power 10 times that of current silicon-based chips, and extremely low power consumption. To make it as flexible as human limbs, they wrote a third-generation neuromorphic AI. This is a true prototype of artificial intelligence. And this holographic tactical visor, it requires not just microprojection technology, but also the real-time battlefield awareness algorithm behind it. All this code is just sitting quietly on the server hard drives. I realize I'm bringing back an entire military-industrial chain. Then move all the equipment and people back. I wave my hand broadly. What Ridgemont can't make, we make in our world. What our world can't make, we mine and refine here, then bring it back. Two-world complementarity, there's nothing we can't handle. Ryan walks into the lab at this moment. Sir, the relocation operation has begun. After reporting the transfer progress, his expression turns serious. However, while clearing out Lighthouse Camp's warehouse, we found something else. A large stockpile of sealed serum 2. Ryan's brow furrows tightly. The enhancement serum the Vortex Syndicate uses. Although Warden didn't use it on a large scale, it seems he's been secretly conducting modification experiments. I look at Sophia. Sophia, this is for you. I know. Sophia nods. I'll analyze its composition. If we can eliminate the side effects, it might become our trump card against high-tier mutants. If we can't, then destroy it. I respond coldly. We don't need to create a bunch of short-lived monsters to defend our home. Understood. I stand up and straighten my collar. Getting our hands on the battery technology means electromagnetic weapons in the real world can also be put on the agenda now. Let's go. Take a look at our new gear. And while we're at it, it's time to prepare a big gift for the Vortex Syndicate side. Inside Lighthouse Camp, my team and I are conducting an extraordinarily constructive moving day. That microscope, handle with care. That's an antique. Server racks over there. Remove the hard drives first. Yes, watch the static. Pack up all these petri dishes, doesn't matter if they're useful. Professor Hayes said, even if it's trash, take it back for analysis. Dozens of engineers and exoskeletons, under Sophia's command, operate with such ruthless thoroughness that they don't even spare the whiteboards on the walls. Commander Ethan, Warden watches as even the emergency lights in the hallway are being removed, the corner of his mouth twitching. Are you taking these lights too? I take a sip of water, my tone matter of fact. Those are nuclear battery long life lamps. The technology is a bit outdated, but they're still very useful in the field. Chief Warden, waste is shameful. Warden falls into utter speechless defeat. He has finally witnessed our bone-deep frugality. 2 hours later, the heavy-loaded convoy departs from the ruins. The survivors lean against the windows of the modified buses, their eyes uneasy. Where are we going? Don't know. I heard it's some forward base 1. Hope there's hot food. When the high walls and brilliantly lit forward base 1 come into view, the buses erupt with suppressed cries of awe. Oh my god, they have electricity! Are those searchlights? Aren't they afraid of attracting zombies? Look, those are vegetable greenhouses. What greets them isn't gun barrels, but food crates. Everyone off the bus, follow the instructions to undergo decontamination first. After washing away 12 years of radiation dust, changing into training uniforms, and holding steaming wheat-steamed buns and braised pork stewed with potatoes, these wastelanders' psychological defenses completely collapse. It's meat. Real meat. I thought I'd never eat wheat flour again in this life. Mommy, this water is sweet. Warden huddles in a corner with a meal tray, watching his subordinates devour the food and the clear eyes of the people at our base. Lost, he picks up a piece of braised pork, swallowing his ambition along with the meat. I lost completely, fair and square. Inside the base command center, I listen to reports in front of the monitors. The hearts and minds work is going smoothly. The aide reports to General Marcus. After initial screening, a high percentage of these survivors are research personnel. Among them, 35 hold senior academic titles, over 120 are mid-level engineers, and nearly 200 are skilled technical workers. Most importantly, the biology and mechanical engineering experts we desperately needed are all here. They are all precious. Excellent. General Marcus nods. Notify Dr. Sophia to assign them to work positions as soon as possible, especially those electronic specialists. Have them work with Professor Hayes to thoroughly digest the data on that server first. Yes, sir. Sir, we've got a situation. Commander Levi cuts into the comms, his face hardening. A perimeter sentry just reported. While the convoy was returning, they felt tremors in the ground. Tremors? Were they caused by the tanks? Doesn't seem like it. The frequency was very low, and it came from deep underground, like something massive turning over. An electronic map suddenly flashes through my mind. Directly beneath the city center lies that legendary hive. Could this relocation have disturbed it? Heighten alert, General Marcus orders gravely. Radars to full power, double drone patrol range. The moment anything abnormal appears, sound level 1 combat alarm immediately. Yes, sir. Meanwhile, in the real world, a classified underground command center in the capital. Professor Hayes, eyes bloodshot, carries a black case as he stands before this group of senior leaders whose words alone could shake international politics. Sir, Distinguished members, after 48 hours of cross-verification by 3 teams from the Academy of Sciences, I can now responsibly report to the organization. We have obtained the key to the future. In the dead silence, the senior leader at the head seat speaks slowly. Professor Hayes, you are a hero of the nation and a giant of the scientific community. We need data, not adjectives. Yes, sir. Professor Hayes straightens his back and lights up the big screen. This is Sample 01, the solid-state hydrogen battery Ethan brought back from the Otherworld's lighthouse camp. Energy density, 5,000. This is not just a number. It means if we install it in our submarines, our conventional submarines can run unlimited like nuclear ones. If we install it in our tanks, our armored units will no longer need accompanying fuel tankers. If we install it in our drones, our swarm can circle the Earth 3 times without landing. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. The screen switches. This is the carbon-based chip architecture Dr. Sophia organized and transmitted back. Although we don't yet have the lithography equipment to manufacture it, its design philosophy is 2 full generations ahead of our current silicon-based chips. If we can master it, the chip stranglehold the West has placed on our nation for 30 years will be completely history. And this exoskeleton's neuromorphic control algorithm, this holographic imaging core logic, the entire conference room erupts. Verified? The senior leader taps the table. Verified. We use that battery to power a high-energy laser in the lab. It effortlessly burned through 10 layers of tank armor plate, and the battery only lost less than 1% of its charge. The senior leader turns to General Marcus on the video link. General Marcus, what is Ethan's stance? Reporting, sir. General Marcus speaks gravely. Ethan's position is clear. Hand it all over to the nation. He has only one request. He hopes the nation can use these technologies to form combat capability as soon as possible, then feed it back to the Otherworld, because the threat there may far exceed our imagination. The senior leader sweeps the room with his gaze. Everyone, what heaven gives, if not taken, will turn to misfortune. Since Ethan has placed this earth-shaking fortune into our hands, we must not only catch it, but turn it into the sword that defends our nation's rejuvenation. I propose establishing the Apex Tech Group as a cover, led by Professor Hayes, mobilizing the full power of the nation to concentrate on reverse engineering the Otherworld technology. Second, elevate Project Starfire's classification to the highest level. Aside from those present and directly involved personnel, anyone attempting to inquire about it will be charged with treason. Third, I approve the dispatch of additional engineering corps and special forces brigades to forward base 1. Ethan is right. We must pursue 2-world complementarity. Experiments Earth cannot conduct, we do over there. Supplies they lack, we provide. People for people, money for money, guns for guns. The senior leader rises abruptly. This time, we will show the world what our nation's speed truly means. Across the ocean, at a certain intelligence agency headquarters. Sir, something feels off. What is it? That Eastern nation's energy network and logistics system have recently shown some unexplainable fluctuations. They've mobilized large quantities of strategic-level materials, special alloys, rare earths, high-grade cement, even some sealed military equipment. But these supplies haven't flowed to any known national key project. They didn't go to aircraft carrier construction, nor to the Northwest launch base. Their endpoint seems to be converging on a southern coastal city. But after that, like clay oxen into the sea, all traces vanish. And the civilian power grid load in that area hasn't shown significant increase. Instead, encrypted communications on certain military fiber optic cables have surged by 300%. Strange. Director Marshall narrows his eyes. This silent large-scale mobilization gives him a scent of extreme danger. Are they building some secret underground defense fortifications? Or developing some new weapon that requires massive resources? Whatever they're doing, keep a close eye on them. Director Marshall puts down his coffee cup, his tone icy cold. Activate our sleeper agents over there. Tell them, at any cost, even if they can only get a scrap of paper, I want to know what our nation's people are hiding. Half a month later, Seacliff High-Tech Development Zone. A large industrial park that had been shut down for half a year due to a broken capital chain has been completely revived in these 2 weeks. Deep at night, countless military-plated heavy trucks roar in. Armed police with live ammunition seal off the intersections. The park has even been upgraded to a temporary no-fly zone. In front of the core office building, workers just hung up a brand new plaque. Apex Tech Corporation, no ribbon cutting, no media. This company destined to change the world order is founded in eerie, low-profile silence. On the top floor of the office building, as Project Apex's executive director, Daniel watches the busy scene below. The coffee in his hand has long gone cold. Director. The young secretary pushes the door open with a thick stack of files in her arms. The first batch of raw materials has been stocked. Special titanium alloy, 300 tons. High-purity graphene, 50 tons. And the rare earth permanent magnetic materials urgently transferred from the National Reserve Bureau. Everything is in place. How about production lines? Daniel turns around, his eyes sharp from the all-nighter. Running at full capacity. According to Professor Hayes' blueprints, we've worked through the night to convert 3 automated robotic arm production lines. Line 1 produces the hydraulic joints for the Apex exoskeleton. Line 2 handles precision casting of the load-bearing frame. Line 3 is responsible for that core energy transmission module. In approximately 24 hours, we'll produce the first batch of qualified components. Daniel nods, pointing at the red secure phone on his desk. 3 more suppliers just called trying to fish for information, asking what exactly we're building and why our material purity requirements are so insane. Tell the procurement department, whoever dares to ask one more question gets kicked off the supplier list, permanently blacklisted. Also, tell the security department to raise the park's classification level by another tier. Yes, sir. Daniel rubs his temples. 2 weeks ago, he was still worrying about research funding. Now, a single signature moves hundreds of millions, entire trainloads of supplies. This kind of power intoxicates him, and also awes him. That 01 project, he mutters to himself, where exactly did it come from? As the executive layer, he has no clearance to know about the dual world gate. He's only ordered to produce the top-tier components at any cost, then ship them out through the green channel. Reporting. The secretary returns, lowering her voice. A batch of special equipment has arrived, airshipped directly from the Academy of Sciences Institute of Biology. 2 fully armed special ops escorts accompanied it. They specified delivery to that special warehouse. Daniel snaps to his feet. The special warehouse is the most mysterious destination in the entire project. Let them through, he says gravely. Pass my order. From now on, all vehicles bound for that warehouse use the green channel. No inspection. No one stops them, looks at them, or records them. Understood? In the other world, at Forward Base 1, after the Lighthouse camp personnel and equipment have been fully integrated, the once cold military base now has a touch of scientific warmth. Sub-Level 2 has been transformed into a comprehensive lab. Amazing. Truly amazing. Inside the biology lab, Professor David, the eminence of the Academy of Sciences Institute of Biology, holds the lab notes and exclaims in admiration. Dr. Sophia, under such resource-scarce conditions, you actually thought to use mutant plant extract to stabilize the Z-virus's active structure. This idea is a stroke of genius. We've worked our entire lives in Earth's sterile labs, always thinking about how to kill viruses, never thinking to harness their energy properties. Your discovery may rewrite the history of human immunology. Sophia wipes the sweat from her brow. It was forced out of me, really. At the time, we had no cryogenic storage equipment. Virus samples lost activity within 3 hours outside the host. I tried everything I had on hand. Finally, I discovered that this ghost face vine sap growing in the ruins could actually put viruses into dormancy. Necessity is the mother of invention. Another physicist examines the glowing crystal core in his hand. And this crystal core. Originally, we thought it was just some biological calculus. We never imagined it would be a high-density energy polymer. This energy structure completely violates the existing laws of thermodynamics. Here, physical laws seem a little more relaxed. I lean against the doorframe, watching this harmonious scene. The chemical reaction between the other world's bizarre materials and Earth's deep industrial foundation is definitely not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Sir, Levi appears carrying a heavy scent of machine oil. The first batch of Apex exoskeleton components from the real world has arrived. Our engineers are assembling them right now. Want to take a look? Let's go. I quickly head to the equipment workshop on the first floor. This place has become a small arsenal. Over a dozen mechanics are busy around 3 silver-gray mech suits. Compared to Lighthouse Camp's clunky Titan prototype, these 3 Apex Mark I exoskeletons are works of art. Streamlined titanium alloy armor, biomimetic hydraulic structure, and Professor Hayes' miniaturized solid-state hydrogen battery pack on the back. So this is Apex. Levi strokes the cold machine. Total weight 35 kilograms, max load 150 kilograms, 100-meter sprint time as low as 12 seconds. Plus it integrates the latest fire control assistance system. Even a rookie wearing it can easily handle a heavy machine gun's recoil. This is what dimensional warfare looks like. I nod in satisfaction. Equip the Special Forces squad first. I have a feeling these quiet days won't last much longer. The walkie-talkie at my waist crackles to life. Ethan, come to the BSL-3 lab. Sophia can't hide her excitement. It's ready. Levi and I exchange a glance. Looks like today is a good day. I pat him on the shoulder. Let's go see what surprise Dr. Sophia has prepared for us. BSL-3 Biology Lab. Sophia carefully retrieves a metal vial from the refrigeration cabinet containing a light blue serum. On the screen, Dr. Victor and General Marcus wear solemn expressions. This is the key. Sophia gently shakes the vial against the light. Combining the induction principle of Serum 2 with the Ghostface Vine inhibitor we just discovered, plus pure energy extracted from a Tier 1 crystal core. How safe is it? Dr. Victor asks. Theoretically safe. Sophia's expression is rigorous. The original Serum 2 violently breaks the human gene lock, forcing a withdrawal on life force. But this improved version, you can think of it as a gentle key. It doesn't force the gene lock open, but through supplementing high-purity energy, induces cells to self-repair and undergo micro-enhancement. Results? General Marcus cares more about combat. Nothing as extreme as the Berserker Rage from Serum 2, Sophia assesses. Expected to enhance a normal person's strength and endurance by about 30%, reaction speed up by 20%. Most importantly, it can significantly strengthen the immune system, producing partial resistance to the Z-virus. In other words, soldiers injected with this serum, even if scratched by a zombie, will most likely not mutate, as long as it's treated within 1 hour. This is a strategic-level breakthrough. Victor slams the table with excitement. However, Sophia changes tone. This is still a first-generation prototype. We need a volunteer for human clinical trials. I'll do it. I extend my arm immediately. I'm the base commander. I have a duty to. Don't mess around. General Marcus's stern voice cuts through from the screen. Ethan, you're not just the base commander. You're the sole host of the Dual World Gate. Your life belongs to the nation, not to yourself. Don't play hero. I retract my arm. Levi steps forward and is about to remove his jacket when I stop him. You don't move either. I look at him calmly. You're the Special Forces commander, the base's top combat command. Before we're 100% certain it's safe, I can't gamble with your life. Then who? Levi frowns. Go to the POW camp, bring me the one called Hank. Tell him there's a chance to go from prisoner to hero, ask him if he dares. I give the order on comms. 5 minutes later, Hank, the former Vortex Syndicate strike trooper, stands sweating in the lab. This serum can make you stronger or it can kill you. I stare at him, getting straight to the point. If it succeeds, you become an official combatant of Forward Base 1, with double point treatment. Past offenses forgiven. If it fails, we'll erect a monument for you. Hank's Adam's apple bobs violently. The massive temptation conquers his fear. Sir, I'm in. He hardens his resolve, sits on the test bench. If I die, I'll be born again in 18 years. Begin. The cold needle pierces his vein. Halfway through the injection, Hank lets out a piercing scream. His entire body's muscles spasm violently, veins bulging like writhing fire dragons. Heart rate 160. Blood pressure off the charts. Sophia clenches her fists. His physical condition is below Levi's. The reaction is more intense. Hold him down. Special Forces troopers pin his limbs down hard. He foams at the mouth. 10 minutes of agony like hellfire, until the convulsions stop. He collapses like wet mud, his whole body flushed red. Heart rate dropping, body temperature normal. Sophia exhales a long breath. Success! Hank opens his eyes. The world becomes exceptionally clear. The weakness from hunger is filled in by raw power. I can feel it. He suddenly sits up, instinctively clenches his fist. Boom! The stainless steel armrest is crushed flat. Holy shit! He scares himself stupid. Strength enhancement about 40%. Sophia glances at the data. Possibly because his baseline was weaker, the enhancement margin is actually more pronounced. Good. I look at the dazed Hank. Congratulations, you won your gamble. From now on, you're part of the Project Starfire Special Forces unit. Thank you, sir. He drops to his knees in excitement, kowtowing furiously. But at that exact moment, a violent tremor shatters the beakers on the table. Alert! Ryan roars urgently over the broadcast. Underground defense wall breached. Repeat, underground defense wall breached. Something has tunneled in. Damn it, right beneath the armory. My expression changes drastically. The armory is the base's lifeline. Looks like our guest can't wait. I grab the walkie-talkie, my eyes ice cold. Levi, take your Special Forces team. Suit up in the new gear. Hank, now that you've taken the rewards, it's time to earn them. Yes, sir. Levi radiates killing intent as he latches on his helmet. Hank grabs an engineering shovel, savage light flashing in his eyes. Sir, relax. Anyone who dares touch our armory, I'll tear them apart. In the corridor outside the underground armory, a 2-meter diameter hole has been ripped open at the base of the sturdy defense wall. From deep inside, the teeth-grinding sound of claws scraping rock echoes out. All squads, attention, establish fan formation. Shield bearers in front, firepower group behind. Levi in the silver-gray Apex Mark I calmly issues orders. This mech, combining otherworld energy with Earth industry, exudes a heart-pounding sense of power. 12 Special Forces troopers quickly seal off the corridor, rifles steadily aimed at the hole. I'm ready too. Hank, now injected with the gene serum, runs over panting, carrying a giant hydraulic plier weighing 25 kilograms, yet wielding it as lightly as a kindling stick. Don't act rashly. Hold the right flank's dead zone. Levi glances at him. Yes, sir! Hank swallows hard. His feral instinct tells him, whatever's in that hole is more dangerous than any zombie. Deep inside the hole, dense crimson light points flicker to life. Thermal imaging shows large high-energy biosignatures. Count 30 plus. 3 seconds to contact. 2. A black shadow shoots out like lightning, charging straight at Levi at the front of the line. It's a long, lean creature with no facial features. Its arms have mutated into massive bony claws. Hold steady. Let it get close before firing. Levi roars. The mech instantly sinks down into a defensive stance. The claws strike fiercely against Levi's crossed arms. The massive impact cracks the ground beneath, but he doesn't retreat a single step. Is that all you've got? Get the hell out. Power output at maximum. Levi's right fist erupts like a cannonball. With a crack, the creature's chest caves in. It's blasted straight back into the hole. Now, suppressing fire. The metal storm woven by 12 rifles instantly pours into the hole. With exoskeleton assistance, assault rifles fire on full auto without recoil. Night Stalkers that show their heads get riddled with bullets instantly. Die! A trooper sweeps fire with one hand, reloads with the other. A few stray creatures dart up to the ceiling, trying to bypass the frontal firepower. Right side, on the ceiling! Levi shouts a warning. Leave it to me! Hank moves. Like a raging bull, he swings the massive hydraulic plier with all his force. The creature's head bursts apart in midair like a rotten watermelon. Another creature slices a deep gash into Hank's body armor, blood streaming out. But with his pain perception dulled by the gene serum, Hank backhandedly crushes the creature's throat, snaps its spine with the plier. Haha! Sweet! The battle lasts 15 minutes, until no more shadows charge out of the hole. The gunfire gradually subsides. Corpses pile up like mountains. Black blood reaches over the ankles. Ceasefire, stay alert. Levi raises his fist. His mech is covered in scratch marks. Reload. Provide cover. Levi activates scan mode, examining the creature corpses. No pain perception. Bone density 3 times that of regular zombies. Seems to live underground long term. Vision degenerated, but hearing and smell exceptionally sharp. Their claws have barbs, suitable for digging. These are Night Stalkers. Sophia's voice comes through the comms. I've seen this description in the Vortex Syndicate's archives. They're the Hive's scout units, specialized in digging tunnels and nighttime ambushes. Their appearance here means the Hive has locked onto our position, which means the mutant beast tide's main force isn't far behind. Levi looks toward the bottomless hole. Seal the hole. He gives orders decisively. Engineering team, Bring quickset cement, plug this hole up, and embed vibration-sensing mines in the walls. The moment they try to dig again, send them to hell. Yes, sir! I cut into the channel directly. Levi, how do you feel? Reporting, sir. Levi flexes his arm. Equipment performance superb. Total overwhelming superiority. Other than the cooling system getting a bit hot under sustained heavy load, no other issues. As for Hank, that guy is a born warrior. Ruthless enough, tough enough, lacks formal discipline, but in a chaotic brawl he's a great asset. Excellent. In the command center, I issue a cold order. Clean up the battlefield. Extract the crystal cores. Don't waste a single one. Tell everyone this was just the appetizer. The main course is still coming. The alarm has just been lifted when piercing air defense sirens suddenly explode above the base. This is command. Radar detects large numbers of high-speed moving targets at the perimeter of the ground defense ring. General Marcus's grim voice comes through. They're probing our firepower blind spots. Repeat, they're probing the blind spots. Panic spreads. The lighthouse survivors who just integrated into the base fall into utter breakdown. It's those monsters. They've followed us. It's useless. The walls can't stop them. They climb walls, dig tunnels. Shut up. A guard sharply silences them. Everyone stay in place. No running around. This is forward base 1, not your broken down camp. Searchlights wildly sweep the outer ruins. Dozens of agile shadows avoid the beams, tactically maneuvering through dead zones in search of a breach. Reporting. Sector C, position 3 spotted enemy traces. They're too fast to lock on. Reporting. Digging marks found beneath Sector D wall. They're trying to breach here. Inside the command center, General Marcus gives a cold smirk. First underground digging to draw our main forces, then ground troops to probe our air defense blind spots and reaction speed. These aren't wild beasts. This is an army. Sophia's face turns pale. They share a unified brain. These Night Stalkers are just its eyes and tentacles. If we can't take them all out at once, they'll keep coming to die endlessly until they figure out our cards. Want to see our cards? General Marcus's mouth curves into a cruel arc. Then let's show them what an ace in the hole really means. He grabs the comms. Ryan, activate area denial system. Fire all 5 flares. Light up the sky. Then let land shield warm up. Yes, sir. 5 flares instantly turn the night into day. The Night Stalkers approaching. The walls and the roteworms in midair have nowhere to hide. The base's massive turrets shed their camouflage. The latest close-in air defense and anti-missile system Land Shield 3000 makes its debut. 11-barrel 30mm rotary cannon. Rate of fire as high as 11,000 rounds per minute. Radar lock confirmed. Fire control data resolved. Die. Ryan slams the firing button. A blinding fire whip of high-density tungsten core armor-piercing rounds gushes out like the Reaper's scythe, sweeping precisely. The roteworms in midair don't even have time to scream. Within 5 seconds they're blown into clouds of pulped flesh. The fire whip presses down. The terrifying rate of 180 rounds per second shreds the ground Night Stalkers along with their cover into dust. In just 5 seconds of sweeping fire, all the probing creatures vanish, leaving only a ground covered in pulped flesh. The guns fall silent. The survivors stand slack-jawed, awed by this divine punishment-like power. It's over already? A former lighthouse camp guard stares in shock. Before, just to kill one of these creatures, we'd lose several brothers. That roteworm, we couldn't even scratch its skin. 5 seconds. That's the gap. A veteran proudly pats him. This is called sensors and firepower as one. The moment radar sees you, you're already a dead man. Here, any problem that can be solved with ammunition, we never throw lives at it. You'll get used to it. Inside the command center, target elimination confirmed. Radar shows no high-energy responses in the region. They've retreated. Sophia stares at the screen. The Hive severed its connection with these scouts. It has obtained the information it wanted. Ground assault not viable. Aerial ambush not viable. So we force it to change tactics. General Marcus gazes deeply into the night sky. Tell everyone, do not let our guard down. Since the probing is over, it'll most likely launch a full assault next. Levi, give your special forces time to rest and recover. Also, the crystal cores Dr. Sophia just extracted, prioritize them for Hank's group. We need more enhanced warriors. The next round will be the real decisive battle. 2 weeks later, Seacliff Apex Tech Industrial Park. The compound blazes with lights deep into the night. Inside the massive steel frame factory, hundreds of CNC machines converge into an awe-inspiring industrial torrent. This is now a tightly guarded steel behemoth, with sniper teams densely positioned on the perimeter, and full lockdown management inside. Hurry, this batch must be loaded by 3 a.m. The logistics manager waves the dispatch sheet, shouting at workers hauling crates disguised as agricultural machinery. Only core personnel know that every single crate contains an Apex single-soldier exoskeleton, enough to spark a military revolution. Inside the workshop, 3 fully automated production lines run at high speed. Titanium alloy plates dancing under robotic arms, perfectly assemble with otherworld solid-state hydrogen battery packs and micro-hydraulic servo motors. Director, the latest quality rate report is out. On the second-floor walkway, the young secretary excitedly hands over a tablet. The Apex Mark I mass production version's quality rate has reached 98%. Daily output can now reach 50 units. This is a miracle in industrial history. 50 units. Daniel scans the report, his eyes grim. Not enough. The order from above is 200 completed units to that location within 3 days. This is an absolute order. 3 days? 200 units? The secretary gasps. That means we need to boost production by another 30%. The machines are already running at overload. Then add water cooling, add lubricant, people rest, machines don't. Daniel turns sharply. This is a top priority urgent order directly from the Central Military Commission. No one drops the ball on me. Every single exoskeleton must be perfect, because they're not just machines, they're a warrior's second life. Yes, sir. Daniel turns his gaze back to the production line. A freshly assembled black mech is nimbly performing running and jumping motions. Go and create history. At 3:30 a.m., 5 heavy trucks, escorted by armored vehicles, leave the park, heading straight for Seacliff's abandoned underground parking lot. Inside Forward Base 1, the gate in the underground plaza glows with eerie blue light. Supply crates stream through endlessly. Oh my god! Hank stares at the rows of silver-gray tactical mechs arranged neatly before him, his jaw dropping. From Levi's welded-together, prototype machine to these matte black tactical-coated, honeycomb-flexible, armor-covered mass production units, these are true works of industrial art. This is yours. The logistics officer pushes an exoskeleton in front of him. Hank, serial number 01025. Based on your body type and post-injection strength data, this is the custom-made heavy assault variant for you. Heavy variant? Correct. Sacrifices some agility but reinforced frontal armor and load-bearing capacity. The logistics officer points at the thickened hydraulic rods. Output is 1.5 times that of the standard variant. You can easily swing heavy melee weapons or solo operate a heavy machine gun. Hank trembles as he strokes the cold metal surface. Try it on. Levi walks over, having donned a commander variant exoskeleton. Yes, sir. System startup. A faint current flows through his body. Hank feels himself grow lighter, power surging through his veins. How does it feel? Levi asks. I could take on 10 of them right now. Hank clenches his fist. The hydraulic assist bursts the air with a sharp ring. Easy. You'll get plenty to fight. Levi pats his shoulder. There are 150 units total. Priority distribution to you new recruits who've been injected with the gene serum. From now on, you are Forward Base 1's heavy infantry company. He turns to face the 100+ steel warriors. This gear is given to you by the organization. Wear it, and you're no longer wasteland wanderers. You are defenders of civilization. Behind us are over 2,000 unarmed civilians. Behind us is Forward Base 1. If we take one step back, they all die. Understood? Understood. Before the roar dies down, the piercing highest-level air raid alarm tears through overhead. Reporting! The radar station's voice trembles in terror. Long-range air search radar detects a massive aerial target cluster. Bearing 030, altitude 2,000, count exceeds 10,000. Repeat, count exceeds 10,000. Levi looks up at the monitoring screen. Tens of thousands of roteworms surge like a black tsunami, blotting out the stars. My god, are those storm clouds? Is this the main course you mentioned? Levi pulls down his visor. A flash of red light. All units, level 1 combat readiness. Heavy infantry company, follow me to the surface. Bring down those flying bastards. Inside the underground command center, dozens of LCD screens light up. Reporting. Long-range air warning radar detects large-scale anomalous signals. Bearing 030, distance 250 kilometers, altitude 3,000 meters, speed approximately 200 kilometers per hour. Levi quickly pulls up the battle map. Target count preliminary estimate exceeds 10,000. The operator's voice wavers for a moment. Confirmed as roteworm swarm 10,000 units. Levi's brow tightens. Initiate level 1 air defense. Notify the Red Banner Battalion to engage. This isn't combat. This is an industrial-scale pest extermination. On the base perimeter, camouflage netting falls away. 4 air defense missile vehicles raise their launch tubes. The phased array radar instantly locks onto the black cloud 200 kilometers away. Target entering range. Distance 70 kilometers. Full salvo fire. Copy. First wave 32 missiles launched. Dozens of missiles pierce the night sky. 70 kilometers out, high explosive fragmentation blooms into spheres of death at the heart of the black cloud. Tens of thousands of prefabricated fragments trigger chain reactions. The night sky rains down flesh and blood. First wave intercept confirmed. Approximately 1,500 targets eliminated. Second wave reloaded fire. Third wave fire. 5 waves of missiles sweep through the black cloud like a giant broom. Surviving roteworms break through the interception net, closing within 10 kilometers of the base, only to face an even more hopeless wall of fire. Entering close defense zone. Land shield 3000 unlocked. Free fire. The 11-barrel 30mm rotary cannon roars. A 3-kilometer-long crimson fire whip tears through the night sky. The 11,000 rounds per minute fire rate weaves an absolute death zone. The roteworms that slip through don't even scream. They simply burst into mists of blood. Close defense zone cleared. No surviving targets confirmed. The entire process takes less than 10 minutes. 10,000 roteworms wiped out. On the ground, Hank watches the fireworks show in the sky, exchanging stunned glances. This is it? He strokes the chainsaw sword in his hand. I thought I'd get to stretch my muscles. This is modern warfare. Levi's tone is flat. No melee, no glory, only data and cleanup. To these low-tier mutants, they don't even deserve to see our faces. He turns toward the depths of the ruins. The real threat is still coming. Alert! The radar operator's voice suddenly trembles. High-energy target response detected. Target moving at extreme speed. It's flying at low altitude. Distance 5 kilometers from base, altitude below 50 meters. On the big screen, a massive purple light point bursts out from the shadows. It has been using low-altitude radar clutter and the rain of roteworm corpses as cover, not pulling up until 2 kilometers from the base. This is a premeditated strike. Land shield, lock onto it. The fire whip sweeps once again, but the 30mm armor-piercing rounds ripple across the target's surface, completely deflected by a thick layer of dark purple halo. Energy shield. Sophia exclaims. Based on Lighthouse Camp's research data, this is a special ability only Tier 3 mutants possess. They can convert crystal core energy into a biological force field, forming physical protection. Strength? Extremely high, at least equivalent to 500 millimeters or more of composite armor. Under the searchlights, a wyvern king with a wingspan exceeding 15 meters reveals its true form. It tanks the land shield's firepower, tactical fury burning in its eyes, charging toward the base like a purple meteor. It's draining the shield's energy, but at this speed it could fully reach the base before the shield's depleted. Tank elevation insufficient. Can't lock on. Ryan roars over the channel. It's flying too high. Our main guns can't reach. I watch the approaching light point, a cold light flashing in my eyes. Easy, Ryan. Levi speak calmly over the public channel. Since missiles can't reach it, and cannons can't pierce it, he draw out the pre-designated engagement zone. Prepare to activate Interception Plan Bravo. Engage electromagnetic gravity trap. All ground personnel take cover immediately. Heavy infantry company, prepare to engage. Levi, get ready to work. Let it come. Levi locks onto the purple afterimage. Since it wants to play decapitation, we'll play with it to the end. Since it wants close combat, we'll grant its wish. Copy. Heavy infantry company in position. We'll be waiting in the base plaza. Levi responds calmly. Sophia, analyze its weak points. The shield's energy comes from the crystal core inside its body. If we can strike the crystal core directly or push energy consumption beyond replenishment rate, the shield will collapse instantly. Meaning, we need stronger firepower or more precise attacks. Theoretically, a 125mm tank gun's armor-piercing round should penetrate the shield, Sophia says. But the condition is, it must be on the ground, or low enough for the tank to aim. On the main screen. On the main screen, I draw a red circle, my gaze blazing. Since it wants to play decapitation, we'll play it to the end. The base's central plaza's hardened ground shatters instantly. The massive purple wyvern king descends. A violent hurricane scatters supply crates everywhere. It raises its head and unleashes a soul-shattering roar, its vertical purple pupils full of contempt and brutality. But the panicked flight it expected does not happen. The plaza falls dead silent. Cold searchlight beams lock onto it from every angle. Dozens of warriors clad in Apex Mark I exoskeletons slowly step out, wielding unsharpened heavy chainsaw swords or barbed grappling launchers. At the head, Levi rolls his hydraulic neck joints. Welcome to hell. The Wyvern King seems to understand the provocation. With a furious roar, its barbed tail swings down like a sonic hammer, breaking the sound barrier. Scatter! Levi roars. The hydraulic pumps burst into action, catapulting him several meters to the right. The giant tail carves a half-meter deep trench in the reinforced concrete. Move! Don't let it take off. 4 special alloy steel cables shoot out like vipers, locking firmly into the bone gaps of the Wyvern King's wings, with 2 more wrapping around its hind legs. The Wyvern King thrashes wildly, beating its wings. Hold it! Hold it down for me! Hank roars. His exoskeleton's power surges to maximum, steel feet plowing sparks from the ground. 3 other warriors also pull hard on the cables. The combined force exceeds 5 tons, but against a Tier 3 Beast King, it's still not enough. The Wyvern King flaps violently, instantly yanking the 4 men off the ground. Damn it! The power gap is too large. This beast has at least tens of tons of thrust. Hank dangles in midair, gritting his teeth. Then let's turn up the heat. With a screech, Levi activates his chainsaw sword. Boosted by jet assist, he leaps up, charging like a cannonball at the unscaled soft underbelly of the Wyvern King. The Wyvern King opens its bloody maw, purple light glowing deep in its throat. Watch out, it's going to spit acid! Sophia screams over comms. Too late. Levi crosses his arms in defense and braces. Thick purple acid instantly engulfs him. White smoke billows from the armor. Alarms blare wildly. Warning! Armor integrity dropping to 60%. Warning! External sensors offline. Captain! Hank's eyes are bursting with tears. He releases one hand, bites open a high-explosive grenade pin, hurls it at the Wyvern King's head. Eat shit, you bastard! The grenade detonates in front of the Wyvern King. The flash and shockwave momentarily blind it, interrupting the acid spit. Levi crashes to the ground, yet rises stubbornly to his feet on the pockmarked exoskeleton. I'm fine, it's enraged. The chance is here. The Wyvern King goes berserk, folding its wings and charging like a heavy tank, trying to crush these insects into pulp. The earth trembles, but no one retreats, because the real king is about to make its entrance. From the shadows of the side hangar comes a low chambering sound, followed by the rumble of treads. The Tier 3 creature's instinct makes the Wyvern King halt abruptly. A cold, heavy steel behemoth rolls out of the shadows, the Type 99, a main battle tank. Its 125mm high-pressure smoothbore cannon, at a distance of less than 50 meters, points directly at the Wyvern King's head. I hear your shield is tough. I speak coldly over the comms channel. Armor-piercing round 1, load. The Wyvern King senses the terror of death, frantically channeling energy. The purple shield thickens twofold. Fire! The muzzle blast scatters debris. The fin-stabilized armor-piercing discarding sabot, with a muzzle velocity of 1,700 meters per second, exits the barrel. In the face of absolute kinetic energy, the purple shield that could block 30mm autocannon fire shatters like tissue paper. The round pierces clean through the Wyvern King's chest, blasting a clear hole front to back at the location of the crystal core. Purple blood and entrails spray everywhere. The residual kinetic energy plows a deep crater behind it. The Wyvern King freezes in place, purple light fading. its massive corpse crashes to the ground. Holy crap, there's no problem a bigger gun can't solve. Dangling in midair, Hank swallows hard. Sophia exhales a long breath. I stand up in the command center. This is the sample we want. Notify the recovery team to extract the crystal core. That's our ticket to level 3. Also, add 2 chicken legs to the heavy infantry company's midnight snack tonight. Yes, sir. After the smoke clears, Sophia, in a white biohazard suit, uses a high-frequency laser cutter to carefully extract a deep dark purple crystal from the charred flesh. Inside it looks like a sealed nebula, energy pulses subtly warping the air. Radiation readings are very high, but the energy is extremely pure. Its energy density is at least 10 times that of a Tier 2 crystal core. If we can decode its structure, our solid-state hydrogen battery research will make a qualitative leap. I walk to her side, taking the lead-lined container. Good work, but its first mission isn't to be a battery, it's a key. Let's go. Let's see what door this key can open. The underground gate hall. I take out the deep purple Tier 3 crystal core. The gate senses the energy. The blue vortex spins violently, emitting tremors. A bass hum resonates. High-tier energy core detected. Tier 3. Base energy reserve sufficient. Upgrade conditions met. Initiate upgrade now? Yes. The crystal core dissolves into purple light and sinks into the vortex center. Invisible waves ripple outward. The gate rapidly expands to 10 meters square, wide enough for main battle tanks to pass through side by side. Noble purple now blends into the blue, with unknown glowing runes emerging along the borders. Dual world gate system, level 3. Dimensions 10 by 10 meters. Cooldown 0. Sustained open mode consumption reduced by 50%. New functions unlocked. Pocket dimension activated. Unlocks 1000 cubic meters of subspace storage. Absolute security. Time frozen. Auxiliary spatial gate. Can open an auxiliary gate at any designated location in the other world directly connected to the main gate, enabling instant supply transfer. Environmental purification field centered on the gate, within a 5-kilometer radius, automatically purifies viruses and radiation from the air, suppressing low-tier zombie activity. Pocket dimension finally. I try storing and retrieving the lead container. The process takes less than a second. A personal arsenal that can store dozens of tanks at any time. This completely solves the logistical nightmare, but this is nothing compared to the strategic value of the second feature, auxiliary spatial gate. With it, I can directly open a portal right on top of any resource point. Ethan, look at this. Sophia stares at the detector in shock. Radiation levels around the gate are dropping rapidly, and virus concentration in the air is dropping too. This gate, it's purifying the environment. This is called environmental purification field. From today on, the 5 kilometers around Forward Base 1 is the only pure land on this wasteland. We can consider taking off our hazmat suits. I smile slightly. This is 100 times more efficient than Earth's best air purification towers. If the range could expand, that day will come. I cut her off, turning my eyes firmly toward the warriors behind me. Pass the order. Immediately expand the underground garage. We're going to welcome bigger guests. Since the gate is expanded, Earth's heavy engineering, machinery, and bigger weapons can come through too. Second, have the staff department redraft the combat plan. Our next objective is no longer simple perimeter sweeps. I tap the red zone in the northwest corner of the map. This is Crimson Stone Canyon. According to Lighthouse Camp's records, this place holds rich, rare earth mineral veins, as well as a high-energy associated mineral called Crimson Stone. Dr. Victor sent word that Earth's reverse engineering of the solid-state hydrogen battery has hit a bottleneck. We can produce batteries but can't solve the stability problem at high-energy states, preventing miniaturization. And this Crimson Stone is a perfect natural stabilizer. Only by obtaining it can we truly mass-produce military-grade high-energy batteries, giving the Apex exoskeleton a true heart. I then point to the city center. And this is Skyvault Tower, once Ridgemont City's tallest building, holding the most complete pre-apocalypse scientific data and a supercomputing center. Sophia ponders this. Both locations are of immense strategic value, but the cost is too high. With our current forces, a forceful push. That was before. I curl my lips confidently. Now, with the auxiliary spatial gate, distance is no longer an issue. We're going to plant a foothold at Crimson Stone Canyon, turn that mining area into our backyard. Seacliff City, Harmony Gardens, Sub-Level 3, Base 0. This is the first forward base the nation established after taking over the gate. After 3 months of emergency expansion, it has formed a massive underground fortress connected directly to military depots by heavy rail. At the core area, the massive gate ripples. Sophia steps out, dressed in deep blue civilian clothing, with traces of inescapable exhaustion lingering between her brows. Welcome to Earth, Dr. Sophia. I lean against the metal counter, tossing car keys, greeting her with a smile. Sophia inhales the air greedily. At Forward Base 1 in the other world, no matter how thick the walls were, outside was always radiation dust and rotting corpse stench, suppressing one from breathing deeply. But here, even the dust smell of the basement is sweet. All indicators normal. No viral contamination. The detector flashes green. Thanks to the Level 3 gate's purification field, the tedious decontamination has been skipped. Go to the changing room first. Since this is a vacation, don't dress so formally. A few minutes later, Sophia has changed into a white sweater and light blue jeans. This is the first time in 12 years she has taken off combat gear. The elevator rises, the digits jumping from 3 to 1. I notice her tensely clutching the hem of her clothes. The doors open. No alarms, no roars. What floods her ears is the vibrant clamor of life. Mr. Brown, please keep your dog under control. Mom, what's for dinner tonight? I want braised pork. Pushing open the unit door, the noon sunlight pours down, making Sophia squint. In the small plaza, children chase each other, elderly play chess, a golden retriever lazily basks in the sun. In the distance, high-rises tower, traffic flows. This ordinary winter afternoon scene, in Sophia's eyes, is heaven itself. Tears burst from her eyes without warning. In the other world, plants devour humans. Life is screams of agony. But here, life is free. That's the sun. She extends her hand, the warmth leaking through her fingers, melting 12 years of frost frozen in her blood. Yes, the sun. I stand by her side, speaking softly. No need to worry about radiation, no need to worry about acid rain, no need to worry about mutants suddenly bursting out. Here, you can sleep under the sun until you wake up naturally. Thank you, she chokes, her voice trembling. If I hadn't come, I would have almost forgotten what the world is supposed to look like. I hand her a tissue and silently keep her company. This is our true soul anchor. After a long while, Sophia stops crying. We sit side by side on a bench. The young couple next to us is loudly scrolling their phones. Holy crap, did you see the news? Apex Technology new battery just dropped. Phone battery lasts a week. EV range of 2,000 kilometers. No wonder oil stocks crashed hard. Hey, should we go grab a first release unit? Hearing my words, Sophia freezes, turning to me. That's the youth version of the solid-state hydrogen battery tech we brought back. I lower my voice with a laugh. Just a byproduct, and it is already enough to push Earth science forward by a giant leap. Is this the meaning of peace? She murmurs. Yes, we bring the nightmares from that side back, transform them into miracles here, using that world's resources to protect the warmth of human life in this world. Sophia stays silent for a long while, then suddenly reveals her most relaxed smile in 12 years. Ethan, take me around. I want milk tea, full sugar with ice. I let out a quiet laugh, making a gesture of welcome. Your full sugar iced milk tea. I hand her the cold cup. Sophia takes a satisfied sip, feeling the sweetness burst in her mouth. So sweet. On that side, sugar was a controlled commodity, and there were never ice cubes. She watches the ice swirling in the cup, her gaze a bit distant. You know, at Lighthouse Camp, we didn't even have an ice machine. Even in the hottest summers, we can only drink warm water. We walk to an outdoor seating area in the commercial district. She stares at the elderly pushing baby strollers, her gaze tender and melancholy. Babies. She speaks softly. Over there, we almost never see babies anymore. At Lighthouse Camp, if we found a pregnant woman, everyone would give up the best resources, because every new life was hope. But even so, in 12 years, only 3 children were born at the camp, and 2 of them died before their first month. I remain silent. This kind of pain cannot be eased by words. Let's go. Let me take you shopping at the mall. Half an hour later, at Seacliff's largest shopping mall, Sophia freezes like a statue. The shelves are piled high with brightly colored fresh fruit. Refrigerated cases hold neatly arranged fresh meat, and there are live fish swimming. This is all real? She picks up an apple and sniffs it. That's the fresh fragrance of fruit. In the other world, this kind of uncontaminated fruit is reserved only for the top elites, but here, they're just piled casually by the roadside. Watching a stalker toss slightly bruised strawberries into the trash, Sophia clenches her fists so tight her knuckles go white. Her breathing turns shallow. So extravagant. They have no idea how precious these things are. Over there, for just these few strawberries, 10 people could die. Unable to bear watching any longer, she turns toward the daily necessities section. Dozens of brands of shampoo, fragrant body washes. They remind her of the soap made from animal fat and wood ash at Lighthouse Camp. Are these things really edible? She points at the dazzling array of snacks. Of course, why do you ask? Over there, all food has to pass at least 3 rounds of virus and radiation screening before it can be eaten. We then arrive at the 5th floor food court. The rich aroma of barbecue and hot pot wafts over us. Watching young people scroll their phones while complaining the meat is too fatty, a flash of pain crosses Sophia's eyes. So extravagant. Over there, just being able to eat your fill is the greatest happiness. That's exactly why. I look into her eyes, my tone serious. That's why we bring the nightmares from over there back. Transform them into miracles here. Use that world's resources to protect the warmth of human life in this one. Dr. Sophia, this is the value of our work. Sophia falls silent for a long while. The urge to protect all of this surges wildly in her heart. Ethan! She suddenly looks up, her eyes steely. I'm done playing. Take me to Crimson Stone Canyon. So soon? I'm a bit surprised. Weren't we supposed to relax for a day? I've relaxed enough. Her gaze sweeps past the lights of countless homes beyond the floor-to-ceiling window. She turns back, eyes blazing as they fix on me. Compared to shopping, I'd much rather see that crimson stone being delivered into the lab. Only those things can protect the lights here, and also light up the darkness over there. I also drop the joke, straighten my collar, and extend my hand to her. As you wish, Madam Chief Scientist. To completely solve the high-energy battery's stability problem, I need to establish a resource point at the otherworld's Crimson Stone Canyon. And the first step is to establish a spatial anchor at Special Warehouse 3 on the Earth side. This is the entry point for the auxiliary gate. I pat the cold wall and record the coordinates. Good. Preparations on this side are complete. The next task is to head to the other world and open the other end of this gate. Levi habitually checks his gear. The helicopter formation is ready. According to plan, we'll take off from Forward Base 1, penetrate 128 kilometers by air, and strike directly at Crimson Stone Canyon. Then let's move. I step through the gate. On the otherworld helipad, 3 Type 20 transport helicopters and 2 Type 10 attack helicopters tear through the silence of the wasteland. Bored, I lead the elite squad swiftly into the sky. Sophia stands on the ground, her expression full of worry. Dr. Sophia, wait here for my signal. The moment the auxiliary gate opens, you walk through directly, safe and fast. Target Crimson Stone Canyon, altitude 1,500. Maintain radio silence. Move out. 5 aircraft cut northward. Cloud shadows below, revealing the silhouettes of roteworms. The cabin atmosphere turns grim. Heads up, roteworms swarm in the cloud layer below. The pilot delivers a sober warning. No need to worry. Levi leans back in his seat. Not only do we have anti-radar coating, we've also sprayed the beast repellent spray Dr. Sophia developed. As long as we don't actively provoke them, they won't notice us. 40 minutes later, the crimson-red terrain appears before our eyes like congealed blood. Target area sighted. Signs of large biological activity below. Recommend firepower clearance first. Approved. I watch the shadows coil below and issue the order. The Type 10's rocket pods carpet bomb the ground instantly. Amid the wails of the rock-scale lizards, we fast rope down. I stride quickly toward an ideal cliff face. System, set anchor. A deep blue gate suddenly tears open on the otherworld wasteland. Behind it is Earth's brightly lit warehouse. Channel established. I wipe sweat from my brow. Captain Levi, bring the big ones through. The Type 99 and main battle tank's treads crush the crimson stone underfoot. In less than 5 minutes, the tank formation is in position, their dark cannon muzzles locked on the depths. Through the dust, several massive rock-scale lizards roar as they charge out, trying to defend their territory. Looks like the locals don't welcome us. I smirk coldly and step behind the armor. All vehicle crews, attention, free fire. The 125mm smoothbore cannon demonstrates absolute dominance. The lead lizard is instantly pulverized into flesh paste. The rest are utterly shredded in the metal storm of 30mm autocannon fire. Area secure. Dr. Sophia can come through now. Sophia steps through the gate and enters Crimson Stone Canyon. Watching the off-the-charts mineral readings, her breath quickens. Oh my god, the purity is even higher than I imagined. At this energy density, even if we don't use it for batteries, it's powerful enough to serve as high-energy explosives. With these, not only batteries, we can even attempt to replicate the energy shield technology. We need to establish a sealed laboratory here as fast as possible. Black rain and radiation won't wait for us. Then go all out. I point at the engineering vehicles streaming in behind me. This will be our new launch point. Back at the base, a holographic map outlining the Ridgemont City Red Zone is set up in the command center. According to Lighthouse Camp's data, Skyvault Tower was Ridgemont City's tech center before the cataclysm. Sophia points at the lone island surrounded by zombie tides. Sublevel 3 is the supercomputing center, 80 floors above ground. Floors 50 and 60 are biology labs. Floors 70 and 80 are the Energy Research Institute. Most critically, the building has an independent energy system inside, a fusion power station, theoretically still capable of basic operation. But the question is, how do we get in? Fusion? Levi's expression turns grave. Dr. Sophia, are you sure that's controlled fusion? Sophia nods in confirmation. If we can get hold of that equipment's technical documents, Earth, then we absolutely have to get it, I say in a low voice. Facing a defensive line of several million zombies, a conventional assault is suicide. No frontal attack. Heavy Battalion Commander, Levi points at the industrial zone outside the base. We need a more direct method. And then, I press. Then, a blood and steel cold smile crosses Levi's face. Request authorization to deploy bombers from the airfield. Drop incendiary bombs. Burn the entire city center to ash. Then burn it all. Use napalm and white phosphorus. Turn the entire red zone into a sea of fire. But Skyvault Tower. Sophia frowns. The tower is reinforced concrete, and it has its own energy system. Theoretically, it can withstand high temperatures, and we don't need to burn the entire city, only carve out a safe corridor, then send ground forces into the tower. What about the flying mutants? That's why we'll establish air defense positions. Levi's finger traces across the map. This operation isn't a small-scale raid, it's a complete military operation. We're establishing our first true military base in the otherworld. How long will that take? Sophia asks. Engineer Walt, you tell her. General Marcus says. Based on drone reconnaissance, that industrial zone covers about 2 square kilometers. If we deploy 2 engineering battalions, using heavy machinery, we estimate 3 days to clear the area and level the runway. But that's the ideal scenario. If we encounter large-scale zombie interference, it could take longer. Then beef up the protection. General Marcus turns to the Heavy Battalion Commander. Levi, your Heavy Battalion handles perimeter security. Ensure construction safety at all costs. Understood. And the total operation cycle? Sophia asks. 5 days. Engineer Walt calculates fast. 5 days. Levi takes a deep breath. Approve the operation. For fusion technology, this risk is worth taking. Operation Codename Inferno. Authorized. General Marcus seals the decision. 3 days later, the once desolate industrial zone has transformed into a steel runway. Through the level 3 gate, batch after batch of disassembled aircraft components are delivered and rapidly assembled. 6 Type 6K bombers, fully loaded with a Hell combo, bare their fangs. Reporting, Commander. Airfield construction complete. Fleet assembly complete. Ready for takeoff anytime. Excellent. Levi stands at the control tower. All preparations complete. Authorized bombing mission? Authorized. General Marcus issues the final order. Notify pilots to board. Copy that. Massive engine roars echo across the wasteland. This is Thunderclap Squadron, ready for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff. 6 bombers and 8 Type 16 fighters scream into the sky, heading straight for Ridgemont City. Target confirmed. Ridgemont City Center, red zone. Suddenly intercepted in the air by roteworms. Heads up. Flying targets ahead, count approximately 30, identified as roteworms, approaching our position. Copy. Escort formation, prepare to intercept. Don't let them near the bombers. Levi responds coldly. Understood. Targets locked. Prepare to fire. Long-range air-to-air missiles weave a net of death from beyond visual range. 2 minutes later, the threat vanishes into thin air. Threat eliminated. Resuming escort. Excellent. Entering target airspace. Begin bombing. Copy. Bombs away. Prepare to drop. Hundreds of napalm bombs rain down on the city like a storm. Through the thunderous explosions, the red zone transforms into molten lava. The blazing sea of fire and black smoke devours the heavens. Report. First wave bombing complete. Target area temperature risen to 800 degrees Celsius. Continue. Levi's tone is ice cold. Burn every zombie to ash. Wave after wave of carpet bombing continues for an entire day. By dusk, the demon's nest that once housed millions of zombies has become scorched earth. Reporting, Commander. Target area cleared. Estimated zombie survival rate below 1%. Excellent. General Marcus stares at the screen. Levi, ground forces can move in. The next day, the armored convoy passes through the still warm ruins, arriving at Skyvault Tower. 4 teams disperse rapidly. Levi leads his team up the backup elevator straight to floor 80, the heart of the Energy Research Institute. Found it? Levi pushes open the laboratory doors. The energy shield generator and carbon-based chips sit quietly inside the safe. Scan the data fast. Open them up. The cutter slices through the final barrier. Supercomputing center data fully copied. Biology lab samples collected. Energy Research Institute equipment blueprint scanned. Fusion power station core data downloaded. Levi looks at the heavy chips and blueprints in his hands, deeply feeling the return of human power. Mission complete. Prepare to withdraw. Commander, airborne early warning radar detects massive flying target signatures at 150 kilometers, approaching at high speed. Just as the convoy exits the ruins, the comm channel erupts with the air traffic control's startled warning. Report target characteristics, Levi orders calmly. The radar screen is already a sea of red, not a roteworm swarm. The echoes are denser, finer. It's carrion griffins. At least 100,000. 100,000? The number freezes the air inside the vehicle. The accompanying expert's face goes ghost white. Those are deadly, venomous carrion creatures. Once they catch the scent of blood, they'll fight like rabid dogs until they're dead. How much ammunition does the Type 16 formation have left? Levi asks. Ammunition depleted. Convoy distance 12 kilometers, 15 minutes at full speed. Contact estimated in 8 minutes. 7 minutes of time difference. Enough to seal a death sentence. Missiles are not, they're dead. Levi's eyes turn vicious. Type 16 formation execute sheepdog tactic. They're beasts, not an army, Levi says coldly. Since they're beasts, they'll fear thunder. 10,000 meters in the sky, 8 fighters dive sharply. All aircraft attention, engage afterburners, supersonic flyby. A terrifying sonic boom crashes down like heavenly thunder. The supersonic shockwave shatters the internal organs of the lead carrion griffins. The charging formation of 100,000 beasts collapses instantly. Beautifully done. The Ground Air Defense Battalion commander pumps his fist, but this only buys time. After a brief moment of chaos, the swarm once again locks onto the convoy on bloodthirsty instinct. Convoy, full speed ahead, forget formation. Levi grips the handrail tightly, issuing orders. Distance 100 kilometers, entering optimal interception range of HQ-16 Phi. First salvo, fire. 24 missiles detonate in midair at the heart of the black cloud. Hundreds, thousands of carrion griffins fall, but tens of thousands of survivors continue the relentless chase. Distance 15 kilometers, entering effective range of land shield 3000. Open fire. Provide fire cover for the convoy. 4 fire whips, spanning kilometers, weave an absolute death net. 11,000 rounds per minute, wipe out the black tide trying to engulf the convoy in great swaths. Scattered escaped carrion griffins slam onto the command vehicle roof like dense hailstones. The twin 35mm anti-aircraft guns flanking the runway then unleash cluster munitions, building the final impassable wall of steel pellets. At the cost of nearly 30,000 corpses, the swarm finally collapses. The convoy charges through the airfield gates. Levi kicks open the door and steps out, his feet sinking into thick black-red flesh sludge. Calling tower. Fuel critical. Requesting permission to land. Clear to land. Watching the 8 fighters land, I turn to a shaken Sophia. This is the Iron Storm you wanted. In the face of absolute firepower density, numbers mean nothing. I understand now. Sophia nods. Before, we only thought about how to hide, but now I know how to win. Let's go. Back to Earth. With this data, the next batch sent over won't just be anti-aircraft guns. 2 days later, the real world. These are the fusion prototype blueprints. Professor Morgan's hands tremble with excitement, his glasses reflecting the blue glow of the screen. Not just blueprints, complete experimental data and core material formula too. I point at the data stream. With these we can build the first operational miniature fusion reactor within 3 months. 3 months? Professor Morgan removes his glasses, wiping his eyes. At our original pace, we'd need at least 30 more years. Ethan, you've brought a future back to the nation. This means we will completely break free from the shackles of energy. Means our industrial capacity will see explosive growth. Means we'll hold the absolute trump card in international competition. You're being too kind, Professor Morgan. This is just the beginning. Next we have carbon-based chips, the urban AI system. These technologies will completely transform our industrial system. The nation has already established Project Flint as a special task force, with me personally heading it, mobilizing the nation's finest talent to tackle these technologies. Whether you lack people, money, or equipment, just say the word. The nation backs you fully. What's still in shortest supply is Crimson Stone, I say thoughtfully. Solid-state hydrogen battery technology upgrades, and the high-energy weapons we may develop in the future, all depend on this high-energy stabilizer. We've opened the route to Crimson Stone Canyon, but extraction can't keep up. Don't worry about that, Professor Morgan says with full confidence. Engineering Corps troops have already moved in. The top brass issued an absolute order. Even if we have to dig that entire mountain hollow, the raw materials supply must be guaranteed. I nod and look out the window. The industrial park has become a massive construction site. The nation's war machine is running at full speed for the total assault on another world.